What's up, everybody, and welcome to Waseca County, Minnesota. We're starting a brand new series on the channel. We kind of teased it a little bit over the last few weeks, but this is what we're doing. You can see we have $0 in our accounts. We're driving to the property that we own. This is going to be a survival challenge, start from scratch type series. We're not going to be able to lease anything. We got to purchase it. We can borrow equipment for contracts, but we're going to have to earn our way all by our lonesome. Let's head home. We'll make our way to the property that we've purchased. What we've inherited is kind of what we want to go with on this. We've inherited a good amount of property that really isn't farmable right now, and you'll see when we get close. And as I was planning this series out and what I wanted to do next on the channel, one of the things that I absolutely had in mind was starting on a property that has been kind of abandoned for years, and it's a good amount of land, but there's not really the ability to farm it yet. So we're gonna have to prepare it for that over the playthrough. So that does give us some time to get the grounds ready. There's gonna be lots of trees, as you'll see soon when we get to it, and earn the equipment or earn the money to be able to purchase the equipment we're gonna need over the years to get a flourishing farm. And we're calling it the SWU Farms series. I want this to kind of be our home for a while on Farming Simulator 25. It doesn't necessarily mean that's gonna be the main series or the only series that we're gonna play on this channel, but we'll be coming back to this and revisiting it throughout the entire cycle of FS25. That's the plan right now. I do enjoy this map from what I've seen. Not a lot of mountains, or no mountains really, but a good terrain change throughout the fields. And the cars fly around on this map, which is really sweet. But let's get home and I'll show you what I was envisioning. And the reason I picked this map was I wanted that property that we've inherited to just be abandoned and not farmable. And when I saw this specific field or specific farmland on this map, I knew it was the right choice. Let's get over there. We'll take a look at it together, talk about the plans, and how we're gonna get where we wanna go. And we're coming up on the property to our left here. You can see we have a nice little trailer home, manufactured home there. It does have a decent sized barn and another shed here, which is primarily where we're gonna park the truck. Let's go ahead and get this open so we can get it in there. And you can see there is the starter small compact sawmill here. It says real, so we're gonna have to learn about this and make sure it's not an overpowered one, but we'll figure that out later. But we have no way of getting any of these trees to the sawmill right now without any equipment. Not gonna be doing it by hand, but that is a big, large area of forest that we do own. Let's take a look at the map. So let's select 10 here. You can see all of this land that is in the forest is ours. We're gonna want to start establishing some areas that we can turn into fields long term. Maybe save up enough money to buy this field here, maybe field 11 long term. You can see precision farming is enabled on this playthrough. I'm excited to get going on that, and can kind of already see the soil distribution of these ones that we're gonna purchase. So that would be nice, or potentially are gonna purchase. So but yeah, that's the challenge at hand. So we're gonna need some cash to be able to get some equipment that's gonna help us move these trees around as we cut them down to start preparing for building some fields or creating some fields. But we have a little bit of land here, a footprint that we could potentially do maybe some bees or a greenhouse or two. But money is the topic at hand today. So let's go ahead and see what kind of contracts we can get our hands on. But right off the bat, there's this one for $24,000, which I think would absolutely be a stellar start. Let's go ahead and grab that one and get into the equipment here. Let's get the time rolling now that we're through the intro. And it looks like we do have this beautiful John Deere harvester here, the S7. Now yeah, we want to use this header to get over to the field. The header trailer, excuse me. It's always fun to get to know new maps and figure out your way around them. So let's go ahead and get the mini map opened up here. We're gonna wanna head to the east, it looks like, and then find that road that we did just travel down in our truck. And then we'll get down to field 24, which is somewhat close to our property. I think it was a little over 20 acres that we'll be harvesting this morning. And I believe it is oats on that field. And this is my first time seeing any of the precision farming details on the game. Now I do see a new little bit of an indicator on the top left there showing the, looks like total per hectare which is unfortunate because we have ours set up as acres. We'll have to double check that. And I do need to make sure all the settings are correct for this playthrough. But yeah, we are set to acres. So the fact that that shows hectares is kind of a little troublesome. But we do want all of these worker things off. I don't want them purchasing anything for us, and automatic start I want off. Dirt normal, that's fine. Field stones is going to be shut off for this playthrough. Crop destruction we will keep. I think that'll be great. But let's get on over and get this harvest started. Our first contract to bring in some cash. Yeah, a good amount of fields here. I did try a few of the contracts, so we do have the one to refresh, but I mean, we're getting a few in here. We have the supply and transport ones, but I'm not 100% sure how those work. And I think I'm going to shy away from them. We don't want a $400 and some $1,000 contract. I think I see our field in front of us. We'll get over there and get the harvest underway here. And we'll do our typical song and dance where we will get the harvest started, and then we'll get the trailer and the tractor over here to help put the oats in the trailer. Now the transportation is going to be a little bit of a cumbersome process here with how far away we are from the store or the selling location. But let's get this header attached, get onto the field. And yeah, it's a decent sized field. Not a bad start for our first contract in our new home. Looks like everything is working as expected here. Go ahead and cruise in. It looks like we do have some tram lines on these fields too, which is quite fascinating. Nice. I don't know if that is a precision farming feature or if that is part of this map. We're going to do 2 headlands if it'll let me. Get that configured, locked into place, and get rolling with this oats harvest. And not a ton of data showing up for us. It does show that we've done 0.1 hectare here. Again, I would like that to, and maybe there's a precision farming setting in here. Oh, we unlocked. We didn't mean to do that. And I'll take a peek and see if there's any precision farming, help menu, hide, and not. It looks like the only thing in general settings. Yeah, interesting. Hopefully that comes soon to where we can have the same setting on precision farming when it comes to the hectares versus acres. Because it would just be nice. And it doesn't seem like we're seeing the yield data like we used to. Let's see, maybe because it's not our field or they haven't done the surveying on this field. So we're not going to be able to see how this field is yielding, but 14% full so far. Almost got this first pass of the headland done. Should be a good contract. Good money to start off our new life here in Minnesota. Let's get it done. And as we finish this first headland, 67% full in the hopper, we've come to an epiphany that we don't have any cash to pay any workers. So we're going to have to do this entire harvest ourselves. Going to have to unload every single time. There's no cash in hand to pay someone to help us with it. So be a little bit of a grind to enjoy things and get it done. So we will get going with this second headland. Once it gets to 100%, we'll go get that equipment, get it over here so we can start unloading. But eventually we'll try to keep that in mind moving forward, that we'll want to have some cash in hand. You know, this first job, there was no option for it. We start with $0. We're gonna keep plugging away. This is a pretty decent sized field, and it seems to be worth the cash that we're gonna get. So on the up and up. All right, and there we go with our first full load. Let's go ahead and jump in this 7R that we're getting to borrow. This is a pretty good sized trailer, so I'm hoping this isn't a ton of trips to the store, and if it is, we'll be fine. But the capacity of this thing is going to be important for the efficiency today. I was hoping to get to a second contract, but we'll see how this first one goes before we do that. All right, super interested to see what percentage of this is going to get filled up here. Tells us how busy our day is going to be. You know, the thing, it's not that we don't want to do the work. It's that if we have less driving to do and we can't pay any workers, so it would be nice to do less trips to the selling location so that we could potentially get to that second harvest today, or the second contract if it's still available. So yeah, let's let this unfold and we'll see what percentage is full. I'm hoping we can get like 3 loads into this thing. And it's close to that 33 percentile. So yeah, 3 loads will do it. Not bad at all. Let's get these headlands done and we'll start working on the ups and downs. Get this first contract complete. All right, just this little spot of that headland to do here, and then we can start with the ups and downs. Just want to make sure we do get this harvested so we don't forget. And we are trying the speed override. I'm interested to see if with precision farming, if that's going to become an issue or not. 27% done. Headlands getting started here. Good progress. Good equipment for this. You know, anything smaller would be a little daunting, but here we'll go with these ups and downs now. Start making some good progress here and get that 26 grand into our hands to start with. And just out of curiosity, do we have anything in the used markets? I want to really leverage the used market pretty well. Probably do want to look into some more mods to add to our list as well. Need a starter tractor and a way to move pallets around and to move wood around. It's kind of the first goals, but that's getting way ahead of ourselves. Let's get this focused, or get focused up on this and get it done. It looks like we will need to do 2 trips to the selling location, which is completely fine, but we will stop right here and unload even though we're not at 100% and do that first trip now. So let's get the header shut off, pipe out, and get the John Deere 7R over there to unload it. It's 57% done with the harvest. 28,000 liters in here so far, so we'll be at another 14,000 added to that. That'll put us at 42,300. And then when we get to the transport location, we'll know how quickly that'll get us to the number we need to complete this contract. Oh, well, we didn't have a full load, so it's not going to quite be the number that I calculated there, but let's go ahead and head into town, find this selling location. I believe it's up to the northeast of the map. So we will head that way and see how we're doing. Wait a minute. What is this? Iron plow, the Weedles. This is a digital sign, a digital billboard. Look at this thing. Hailstorm now on tour. That's so cool. Well, we're in town, and theoretically we've done 57% of the harvest, so the transportation progress should be roughly around 57 to 60% when we drop this off. That'll tell us we're tracking good, as long as we find the correct place to sell this. I feel like this is the place. Let's just drop a little bit to make sure our money doesn't go up. Yeah, we're at the right place. All right. 61% done with the contract now, and that number is climbing. 72%, nice. And transported is 72% as well. Should be a good payday when we get done with this. Let's do the long drive back to the field and get the harvest complete. I do like the way they've done the ditches here. Pretty legit to this part of the country. I'm about 8 hours drive. No, actually it's about a 6-hour drive from where I live to this part of Minnesota. It's pretty accurate from what I've seen. It's another area that could be for lumber there. Another field or farmland that could be purchased. I do like that these roads aren't finished. It does give like a backwoods feel, or, small town country feel to it. Man, the UPS guy's flying. I like the fact that the cars are moving this quick. Nice touch. And back to the field. Man, we did more than I thought. We've made good progress here. We're not far off from being done with this, and I think we'll place the cart here on the last row that we were on, get back in the harvester, bust this thing out, and away we go. Handful of passes. I think we'll have to unload 2 more times. Great progress. This is flowing nice. Should get us a nice dent towards the money we need to start buying a tractor trailer and probably something with a front loader and some pallet forks. And maybe a winch as well. All right, well, that went a lot farther than I thought it was gonna. We should have plenty to finish the contract, but I don't think we'll have as much extra as I was expecting to make that extra cash from. But we'll find out momentarily. We'll get this unloaded, get this last pass and a half done, and get this contract turned in, and make our first money here in Minnesota. Another 3,000 liters to put into the trailer here. the grain cart, bringing the total up to, or what is it going to be, 16,000? 17,000 liters here, 300. Let's go ahead and head back to the cereal factory and see what that dollar amount's going to be for our first contract. Now, I live on an old county road, county highway, and people do fly by. I was hoping there was a good opportunity to see one here, but they do drive as fast as they're driving on this map, and it's cracking me up. Is this our turn? It is. All right. Let's see if we get someone, yeah, coming here flying by. Oh, they're driving at a reasonable speed, but the car behind them, it's moving pretty quick. It hits the bump, slows down right there. Pretty fascinating. I love the touch. Now, I wonder if that's controlled per vehicle type or if it's all vehicles are flying. And I guess we'll see when we get closer to this school bus how quickly it passes us. You'd hope the school buses are driving a little bit slower with the kids in them. Yeah, it looks like they are holding up some of the faster traffic there. Pretty sweet. Not as cool as this digital sign up here, though. That's my favorite feature so far of this map. Seeing it change there to the little Weedles, the Beatles. Nice touch. Hailstorm on tour now. The Great Gig in the Hay. Little Pink Floyd reference there, it looked like. A sawmill we could purchase right here. It's a little far from home. There's no access road directly north. We're directly south from here, and we do have to go loop around to get here. So that might be something we might want to petition the county to add a road for us. I'm sure there's other farmers in town that would appreciate having that from the east side of the map, or the west side of the map. I apologize. I think I called this the northeast corner earlier. It's the northwest corner. The money's going up. 10 grand extra. Can't complain about that. So in completing this, we'll get another 23,000. So we're at 34 grand. Let's head home. Wow. All right, let's look at what's available to us right now. Has some huge baling contracts. Looks like they are square balers. Some fertilizer contracts. Huge harvests as well. Lots of things. These supply and transport. I'm guessing this is something where we have to have like the 2,215,000 liters of sorghum, I would imagine. I don't know. Let me know if anybody's used that. The other contract I was eyeing was on field 29 here for another 23 grand, but there's also this one for 13 grand that I think we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and grab that. We'll borrow these items as well. Looks like the same harvester, but this time we do get a semi. And being that, where's the proximity here? Yeah, I think we are just gonna brave it with the header and cruise through the fields to get there. Little cliff dive there. Neighbors don't mind if we're driving through their beautiful field. They probably do mind. But this looks like the one right in front of us that we need. Now we do have a little bit of cash. Oh, we got to unfold. So we could have a worker help us, but this is going to be a smaller field. So potentially we might not feel like we need it. Cruise into the field here. Get our guided steering all configured as well. And I think one headland would probably, whoops, didn't mean to do it that way. We want to do it this way. Lower and activate. Locked into place. Yeah, I think one headland will be enough here. It is oats again, so we know it's a good amount of passes before we have to unload. So let's just get cruising here. The plan for the first few months is going to be really to take advantage of as many of these contracts as we can. Start saving up some money to start buying equipment so we can start making money off of our own land. And around the headland here, about 53% full. So it looks like there's a couple short passes we'll want to do. And then we'll get to the long ones. We'll get the short ones out of the way. I do like doing it that way. And just cruise on up here. Find, I think it's going to be one more. Oh yeah, that's just a tiny little pass. Lock that in. Accidentally go 20 on that. The momentum took us there. And loop around now. We'll hit cruise control. And we should be able to get into some ups and downs here without missing too much crop. And I imagine that semi is only going to need to be filled once for this contract. Quite the terrain change on here. Look at the slope on this thing. I wonder how our land is. I didn't get a good look at that yet. We haven't really explored too much on our property. But man, that's pretty steep. So the type of equipment is going to be pretty important on some of these fields. Have enough horsepower to handle those slopes. Man, almost full here. I think this next pass will probably do it. Then we'll have to get the semi here to start unloading. Yeah, I think it would be wise to stop here at 95% full. Not much wiggle room here to drive around these fields, and I didn't see another road that led to this field, so I don't know exactly how they expect you to get here, other than the route we're taking, maybe from the other side, but only complaint so far that I really have of this map is the road access to the field seems a little, I don't know, unrealistic. I'd have to look at the area and see, but like even with this fence here, so you don't really have any access in between the fields there, we missed big time. Look at that. So yeah, it's okay though. We'll play the way we enjoy playing and make it work for us. I think it's a pretty sweet map so far. I got this huge lake in the center here. Come on, there we go. Yeah, this huge lake over here, just kind of a shallow entrance with all this overgrown, I don't know what these are called, cat's tails or something. That might be something different. And then into the lake there, look at the water move, the little ripples we just created. Oh, the capacity of this isn't as good as that trailer we're using, it looks like. And the capacity of the harvester is better. Wow, that completely fit perfectly. Love the compatibility there. Well, I guess we didn't have a full amount. That was pretty strange that it was exactly 100% there. All right, not a ton left to do here. Probably be one more hopper full, I'm hoping. Maybe two. Let's bust it out. Now I'm curious to see, we're flying up here on this little section to see if the 2% we have left in the hopper is gonna be enough. I don't think it's gonna be. We're going too fast though. Let's cruise in here. 99. And it's just going to be the tiniest amount that we're going to have to harvest after unloading this. That's hilarious. Oh, that's the wrong button, wrong button. Oh, back it up, back it up. That's all right. Let's get the semi over here. We should have the capacity in it to be able to do this. Should be able to fit what we have in the back and then the middle for a little bit there. Oh, it wasn't 100% full over here. Okay, that makes me feel better. And we'll fill up this middle one and then we'll work on the back. So yeah, this is pretty sweet contract here. Set up pretty nice, not having to drive back and forth to the store multiple times. The right equipment for the right job. Let's go ahead and get it finished and then we'll just drop the rest. It's almost a full pass here. Make sure we're far enough over there. Little skinny row that we're gonna finish harvesting here. Should be another, I don't know, maybe 20 grand. Get us around 50,000. Well, maybe closer to 60 on our first day in operation here in Minnesota. I'm gonna turn around and grab that little bit that we just saw while we were driving there, right here on the edge. Might be $1 or $2 when it comes time to go sell this. All right, let's go ahead and shut the header off. Get this all deposited and see what our fortune is. Looks like our total is just under 32,000 liters of oats. It looks like we are going to a different selling location here. See what this one's called. We are going to the farmers markets. All right. Oh, mailman. Okay. Almost had a wreck there. All right, let's cruise on in here. All right, let's see what this first bay gives us in here. First section, 82%, 83. That number's got to go up. Come on. Got us to 90. See what the middle does for us here. Are we going to be short? This isn't looking good. I think we'll be okay. We just won't make as much profit as we did from the last one, but it should be enough to complete the contract here. There it is. Money's going up now, about $5,500. Let's go ahead and collect on the contract. Another 12 grand. So that put us at $52,000. Not a bad start to our first day here. We'll be looking at equipment next episode, figuring out what we want to put in the budget, keeping an eye on the used market. Kind of leaning towards something like this skid steer here. Let's look at the combination. Find used. Ooh, a normal search. There's a fee and a 65% chance, and it takes about a month. Ooh, do we want to use that feature? I don't know if anyone has, but let's look at combinations here. So we could end up getting, it looks like the brush and log fork added to it. We could get the stump grinder and we could get pallet forks as well in a bucket. So this could be something that starts us off pretty well if we get a skid steer like that. And we could start chopping down trees and cutting them down and moving them over with the log fork. And start getting the sawmill into production, but we'd also need a trailer to start moving the pallets around. So those are items we'll be diving into next episode, as well as some more contracts to keep the income coming in. But I want to start making money off of our own property. And it looks like we're going to have to design this and get some good fields going. A little section we'll just, I mean, what I'm trying to say is we need to learn the landscape of our own land and explore it a little bit. Find the good flat parts where we might want to put some productions, find some areas where we want to put fields, and try to utilize this land as much as possible before we go looking for more to expand on, because money's going to be tight. We don't really have a way to make money yet, but that is right around the corner. What I've done so far off camera is I did swap this out for the sawmill that comes with the game. The one that was here was a little overpowered, a lot more cycles per month, and it processed a lot more wood per cycle, so we don't want that to taint the playthrough. So we did swap that out, and we made the money, so that'll be our starter sawmill to, you know, just start getting us money. And what we're gonna want to do and start doing in today's episode is I think I want to start taking down some trees in this area and prepare a plot of land that's going to be the future home and the long-term home of the larger, probably the medium-sized sawmill that comes with the game. But we have no way to move any of the wood yet, and those are pretty good-sized trees, so we're gonna head on into the store and look at purchasing. Well, we probably need to customize this to have a hitch. Looks like I missed doing that. But we'll need to get a trailer, and we're also going to look for a piece of equipment that's gonna really help us out getting started with moving some trees around. And pallets when we get to that point. You can also see there is a contract in progress. There's no worker over there. We're gonna do it ourselves later on. I'm kind of doing somewhat of a test. It is a pretty good, it pays pretty well. It's about $25,000. But I did get a good amount of comments warning me of some of the potential issues with precision farming on its release. And so we're trying that contract out to see if we can get around some of the known issues with cultivating contracts with the tram lines, I'm assuming is what's causing it. I do have the tractor set to create fields. It is allowing fields to be created while it's cultivating, and we have the cultivate or field creation with the cultivator mod installed as well. So when we get done with our prep work on our own farm today, we're gonna go back to that contract and see if we can complete it and see if having the fields allowed is gonna get by whatever issue is causing the cultivation contracts to not be able to be completed. I just saw it was available and thought it'd be a fun test to give a shot and see if we can figure it out. But we're almost to the dealership where we'll start looking at our first purchases for our survival challenge here. Be nice to get some equipment of our own, and hopefully there's a garage there to where I can put a hitch on this truck. And we're in town now. Looks like this is the gas station where we get our diesel for our equipment. And then I believe the dealership, oh yeah, we just cut that car off. The dealership is right over here, and I do need to get my icons turned back on so we can see if there's a garage. Little loading area is pretty sweet, but it looks like we do have the repair shop right here. So let's go do that first. Riverbend Auto Repair, and I believe the rear attachment, that's probably what we want. There's the gooseneck as well. Actually, we will set this up for both. I've done that in the past, and we'll go ahead and customize that. $650, not too bad. But we're gonna go with the John Deere 90. Absolutely $15,000, and we still need a trailer. But let's take a look at what we've purchased here. We have the skid steer, and we have the log fork here. We have the stump grinder and the pallet fork, and that cost us just around 20 grand just to get that. Beautiful. Oh, feels familiar to me. But we'll also want a low loader for loading pallets, and money's gonna be, oh, that is a ridiculous price for a mod. $8,000 for that. We're not gonna take advantage of that, but $30,000 here. I think this is the one we might want to do, and let's look at some other options as well on the flatbed ones, but I kind of want to do the low loader. So we're gonna go ahead and buy that. But we can save $1,000 by not getting the side rails or the side guards, so we will do that. And that leaves $680 in our account. So what we want to do is hook that up to the trailer first, or up to the truck first. Not the best location. Those should probably be turned the other direction. All right, that does hook up perfect. So we'll get this lowered, and now we can jump in the skid steer. We'll attach to some of our attachments and get them loaded up on the trailer. And that should allow us to get all of this home in one trip. Oh, this would be good for cab view. All right, let's hook up to the log forks here, and hopefully there's enough room on this trailer to get all of this. There should be. Oh, we gotta straighten her out. We gotta straighten her out. All right, if we get lined up good, we should be able to drive up here. There we go. And we'll get this one detached. We'll hop out and strap that in. Oh, is that gonna connect it? I hope that grabbed it. And we'll cruise over here, get the stump grinder and the pallet forks as well. And then we'll get home. All right, so let's just get these strapped in here. And it looks like everything's good. Do the little drive home. And this is actually the field in front of us that we're working on cultivating. So we'll be back here in a few, but I did want to get some trees cleared before we get focused on that contract. And what is happening with traffic here today? Oh, maybe I can be traffic cop. No, they just... Too many people at one intersection at the same time. We got a little bit of a voice thing going. I don't know how weird I sound. I sound very strange to myself, but I feel very healthy. Just got something going on with the voice and a little congestion, but we'll get by. Flying by. Quite the drive here, but we will be able to get started on prepping our, doing the prep work that we want to do to clear some of this land. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull closer in here to just get started. Oh, we drove all the way with the ramps down. Oh yeah, okay. Rookie. And where did we lose the log forks at? Hello. Stump grinders here. All right, we're gonna apparently it wasn't strapped in and I'd lost it probably at the dealership. Let's head over here and see. Gosh, that's funny. I bet it's down here. I guess the map will tell us. Had to have been one of our turns. It's right there. Okay. We'll get it. We'll grab it. All right. We'll act like nothing happens. We're going to put the forks away. We're not going to... Well, actually, the pallet forks I think I will put by the sawmill, because that's most likely the main area we will be using them. So we'll put them to the right here. Man, I love this piece of equipment. I would love to have one of these in real life. So much I could do around the property with it. All right, the forks are connected. Let's go ahead and get the truck out of the way. And we won't really need this trailer anytime soon, but I will leave it connected for now. We'll just park right here. Should be a pretty decent spot to start loading once we do start getting goods from the sawmill here. Guess we'll pick them up right here. Oh, being right there would be better, but we'll get to that. All right, so we do need to hop in the store one more time here. And we're going to go with this $500 Lizard PSX 90, the PS 190, and pull that out. Oh yeah, that's sweet looking. It looks a little used. Nice hand tool there. And I guess what we want to do is just start from here and work our way back. Let's go a little bit lower here, make the stump grinder's life a little easier. Cut down this red pine to begin with, volume 9800. So this is almost gonna fill up the sawmill by itself. Oh boy. Okay, let's see if we can get it to fall. There it goes. It's gonna be stuck. Let's go ahead and cut it like this. Length is bad. This chainsaw needs maybe it needs sharpened. It's taking forever. There we go. Okay, so that's gonna clear it. Perfect. All right. So let's hop in here, open up the forks a little bit, see if we can grab this bad boy. It's a pretty big one. If not, we're gonna have to just push it. Yeah, is it gonna open more? It does open more. Okay, so let's lower. Try to get under it. I just don't think it's gonna grab it. All right, we'll loop around and we're gonna push it to the sawmill. Seems to be our course of action here. Man, lots of good trees. This is a sweet design. So let's go ahead and just kind of shimmy this over to the sawmill. Yeah, this is working great. Well, we do what we gotta do to get by here. Yeah, only 1,600 liters of wood so far, and we're gonna... What do we want to do here? I know the wood beams pay pretty good. We're gonna activate all three and get this filled. So 14,000 is what it's gonna hold. And we could get a couple logs prepped there, but yeah, it's gonna be a slow grind to begin with. Once we get enough money to buy the bigger sawmill and clear enough land, we will definitely start progressing that way. So let's see if this can grab here now that it's a little smaller. No, we're gonna have to go a little bit further in. And that might do it, but it's not gonna be able to lift that much weight, is it? All right, so let's come over here, get the chainsaw back out, and we'll cut it right there and give that a shot. Otherwise, we'll do the same thing we just did with the last piece of wood. And I think we're gonna need to. All right, we'll get it going. We'll get it going here. At least we have some equipment to push things around, and this will definitely work with the pallets. Oh, that was rough. Ran into that tree. I guess that should have been the one we cut first, but we'll be fine. All right, let's try to turn this. Yeah. Not bad. Might have to, yeah, we'll have to change course here. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to see, can we actually grab this thing? Negative. So the weight on this skid steer might end up being an issue. Might be short-lived, but it was only $15,000. And we'll find jobs for it long-term if we need to. But let's see, where are we at now? 4,200. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all of that moved over as much as we can, and potentially a few logs that are just prepped to go into the sawmill for when time comes for it to be able to accept it. So looking at the wood chip value on this right now is exactly why we're not gonna be doing wood chips. I think that's broken. You're not gonna get $100,000 from one tree. Everyone would be doing it if that was the case. But I think this will be the last piece we need to move for the day. See, we cleared a little bit. We got a lot to go before we're gonna be able to actually do anything with this land. So we should make either way, we should make a pretty good fortune to get us started with our farming equipment just from the trees on this property. And it's gonna be a lot of work, but it's gonna be very rewarding when the time comes to start getting to real farm work on this playthrough. Oh, and this one's being stubborn. Come on, gotta turn that way. I think if we just, nope, I didn't want to turn that. Oh, we're going crazy now. Crazy in the skid steer. Yeah, let's get it closer and then we will just, yeah, that'll work. Got it lined up good, and we'll see. I don't know if this whole thing's gonna actually get taken, but it might. Negative. That's good. That is good. That means we're beyond the threshold finally. So let's try this little bit here. See, we have 11,500 in here as is now, and not even that, huh? This is a big boy. Yeah, I guess this is still 10,000. Oh, it says 3,000 liters. So cutting this one right here should be fine. Let's see if a little bit goes in here. Wow. All right, so that little chunk did. So these ones will be sitting here and waiting for us. Let's go ahead and turn the skid steer off, and we can, I think they're in the trigger. So as the capacity is available, it should be able to take these. I just don't want to cut them too small because I don't know if they lose some of their volume when you do that. Well, let's see. We're almost through this one. I didn't see anything change there. I don't know what's going on there. But we'll come back and check later on. So we still do have this tree, and some of these smaller ones that we can load on the trailer, we might sell directly if there is a place that buys wood. There is that other sawmill in town, so I assume it buys it. But definitely these big boys are going to go to the sawmill because they're going to be just way too hard to transport around. All right, with that being said, it is time to get back to our experiment here. While the sawmill makes us money in the background, we're going to get back on the contract bandwagon. Try to make a little bit more money. We're down to $175. Got to get that balance back up. We got a lot of things to buy and a lot of work to get done. kind of thinking through some of the ways I want this to play out, this whole series, and figured we'd talk about it while it's still early on. So what I'm kind of debating is land's not always for sale, and it is in this game. So we have a decent amount of land. I want to really just focus on that entire forest area and turn it into, you know, farmable land long term, and not necessarily just save up money and buy a field that already exists. Kind of want to role play it that way, that, you know, there's nothing for sale. All the farmers in town, they want their land. They're not willing to give it up. And if we get to the point where we just outgrow our own property, then we can maybe revisit that and adjust the prices accordingly. I just think it's an interesting part of the game that could be added if we wanted to limit the fields that are for sale. And that would be a really sweet mod if it was just like randomly throughout your playthrough, certain plots of land became, you know, up for sale, so you can't just, you know, buy people out of their land. Just some thoughts. Only at 42% has me a little concerned, but either way, if this doesn't work, we're gonna give ourselves the money. That's the beauty of being able to play on PC, is we do have mods that will allow us to do that even if the contracts are broken. But I do want to do this experiment and see if it works. And a little reminder from the beginning, we do have fields enabled on right now. So I was thinking the areas where the tram lines are, potentially it's not actually cultivating that when you're just using a regular cultivator without mods. I know that doesn't really help anyone on console, but I just want to do the experiment and see for myself. What was going on in this field? Oh, Walter let his oats wither. Oh, frickin' Walter. I'm a little confused. This is off by a lot. 91%. We'll see. We're going to do the whole thing and see what percentage it's at. But man, that's rough. I feel really bad for the console players that are trying to do contracts and use precision farming. You know, every little bit of oats will be harvested, will be cultivated when we get done here. And yeah, 92% with just that little tiny bit here. That's really unfortunate, guys. I mean, we'll be lucky to get to 93%, but I'm going to do a little bit of testing with the console commands that you can do, the dev commands, and see if we can get it to satisfy the contract. It's just what I know about the game and what I know about some of the systems for the maps. It's bizarre. It is bizarre. So we're going to be at 92% when we get this little bit left here. And then let's see if I can remember the commands now. Let's hop in here. Let's just type in field. Let's do field ground state, and that'll open up this menu. We want cultivated, and we're just going to hit OK. And that did finish the contract. So strange. So I wonder what it's not recognizing as being cultivated. That is so strange. All right, so let's go in here though. And $25,000 from Walter. We will take it. But anyone who is interested that has the, you know, has PC, it is GS field set ground. You don't type in anything else. You just hit enter. And then this little menu does pop up for field state, and you can, you know, manipulate the fields however you desire. So it's 4 o'clock now, or 1400. And we do not have anything, so we knew that was the case. It's going to take a little bit of time for this sawmill to really do anything for us. And what's the capacity over here? It hasn't taken any of this stuff because it's just slowly grinding through this wood. Let's look at contracts, see if there's anything worth doing for the rest of the day. That's not going to take too long. Yeah, I think we're just going to sleep at this point. 22,000 with this equipment. And we can do the same thing we just did. Yeah, let's do it. This clause, I love this clause. Like, some of these pieces of equipment, or these types of equipment, I don't use a lot because they don't do well in America, in the US for views. But it's nice. It's nice to do contracts because you get to see a lot of equipment that you wouldn't normally see. Let's drive over there. This should be a lot quicker, and we'll do the same thing we did with the last contract once we're done. And it's, you know, little cheat there for you guys. If you want to get some money, grab one of those cultivating contracts. That's huge. Run that command and it's instantly done. We're not going to do that, but those of you who like playing that way, do it. All right, we're here at the field. We'll get unfolded. And this is a big cultivator too. And I believe this is the same field that we harvested last episode. It's always nice to see the next phases and potentially grab like all of the contracts to take care of this field for this farmer and kind of pretend we're, you know, part of the co-op really. And oh, are we gonna be stuck at 7 miles an hour on this? Let's try 14 on the speed override and see. Yeah, we can go a little quicker, but we'll set it to 11 since that's the quote unquote recommended speed. But yeah, this might take a little bit of time, but I'll see you on the other side. I think we need to stay away from cultivating contracts in general. It's just, I don't have anything to talk about. So this episode might be a little bit shorter. We're 65%, cruising a little bit. I do have a podcast going to entertain me while I'm doing this cultivation here and just peaceful. But we'll see. This one's, it seemed like the percentage was going up more consistently, but I have a feeling it's still going to be about, you know, 92% when we get done, which is just so bizarre to me, but in a blink of an eye, we'll be done. So 96%, we need 4 percentages. We need to get 4% on this last pass. I think it's going to happen. It just hit 97. So maybe some contracts aren't good. Some are good. Bizarre. Let's see when we get to the end here. 98. This one might be okay. Yeah, this one seems to be acting like a normal one with, yeah, contracts done. I love it. Good stuff. $22,000 from David there. Mission complete. So we have $47,000 and I wanted to put a greenhouse in this space. Are these doors usable? Are they do function. So we do want to have a little space there. Let's evaluate a little more. Yeah, let's jump in the sky. Let's see the footprint that would take up. Open air large. That thing's huge. We might end up doing that long term, but we got to get started somehow. And I don't think I want to do those. I think I want to do the ones that are just water. So we might go with a medium glass greenhouse, or we could go with the medium tarp one. I think the glass one's what I prefer. 54,000 is just not in our price range. We could do mushrooms, and I might do that just because we don't usually. I think we'll go with this. Yeah, you know what? I take it back. Back and forth we go. $36,000 for the mushrooms, and it could technically fit right here. Where is the spawn location though? So I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab the skid steer. I'm gonna get that tree out of the way. We're gonna get rid of the stumps that are close by. We're gonna try to get this tree out of the way. Quite the stumps here. Big trees. So let's see if we can push this, and we just need to get it somewhat cleared. Oh, it's gonna clip. All right, we got through it. We got through it. So we'll get it about right there. And then I'll come around to the side of it and push it away. It's gonna be a long project, guys. I'm excited about it. It's gonna be so rewarding. And we'll start chopping this up in October and getting it prepared to go in the sawmill. But let's go ahead, close the jaws. And we will swap out implements or attachments here. There. Looks good. And then we'll hook that up on there right here. So hopefully this works. It says it should. Okay. Move it to the side a little bit lower. And that one's gone. Cruising here now. All right, I'm gonna get the rest of these taken care of. And then we'll see if we got enough room. We feel confident that we've created enough room for the sawmill, or not the sawmill, but the greenhouse after that. Now I'm wondering if I can even grind these type of stumps with this stump grinder, because they're not going away. They're not going away, guys. There we go. I think it's working now. Oh, you gotta baby step these. Holy cow. And I also took a shot at, I don't know what's going on with the lumberjack mod. It doesn't seem to be doing the trick either. Let's move over here. Yeah, interesting. All right, is lumberjack working for me? Let's take a look here. It doesn't seem, I don't know. Let's see if I can get this one to go away. Yeah, these small ones, they're fine. These bigger ones, they're just being super picky. Oh, there we go. Let's see how much of this one it get. Oh, it got it. All right, we just got to be patient. Find the sweet spot on this big boy. That one's no bueno, but we will go ahead and shut it off now. And that should have cleared up plenty. So we'll grab this. And I kind of want to line up with the barn there. Oh, why is it? color, not bad at all. Let's go ahead and head over to, where's the configuration button? Oh, it's inside. Oh, the door, did we put this backwards? Did we put it backwards? I think we did. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. That's backwards. 18,000, so we'll give that back to ourselves. We want to do things right, huh? So let's hop in here, add money. We'll add 18,000, and we'll try this again. We know we want that in the back. That makes sense. We'll have to clear. Well, we're not actually going to water it, so you'll see in a second. All right, so now we have our spawn location right here, which with our skid steer should be fine for picking things up. But let's go in here and get this configured how we need it. And I haven't done mushrooms, so we're going to do both, but we are going to enable automatic watering. So money might run out, but we're going to do both types of mushrooms here. Beautiful. So let's get it to 1700 so we can see some water populate in here. All right, so no more missing materials. I gave a little bit of water. That'll get caught up over time. Every hour it will add a little bit and charge us a little bit of money for it. We're in business, guys. Let's shut off the skid steer because that's just wasting fuel at this point. No clue how much content we got in this episode, but some of them are gonna go this way. And I don't like how much that closed everything up. Yeah, we stuck out a little farther than I wanted to, but that might go away. And that could open things back up here. And you know, it's gonna look a lot different in a couple years through this playthrough. None of this stuff's still going. I do wanna, the last thing we'll do, we're gonna sleep and make it morning so we can just see what kind of stuff we're producing. It's only gonna be a few hours for the mushrooms, so we're not really gonna stress about it. Dark morning, it is October. Let's go over here and see how close the sawmill is to giving us some goods. I think what we'll have is a lead time here where halfway through this month we'll get a plank, and then every month moving forward after this we'll probably get at least one item. I don't know how quick this does mushrooms. Oh, it looks like we did get some here. Pretty sweet. We do have time-saving stock check, so we can see $13,000 right now of goods. March is the best time to sell everything that we have, so we have some time to build up our inventory before we do a big selling event. We're quickly understanding that this sawmill is just not going to be quick enough for us to get to our goals. So what we're kind of taking a look at over here, and money's going to be a big issue, but over here I see a decent area that we could put a larger sawmill. We were starting to clear land over there, but we kind of blocked the access with the new mushroom greenhouse. So there's this decent amount of area already cleared here. I think what we would really need to do is probably move these or remove these 4 trees here, and maybe a couple trees this way, possibly this one as well. I think we'll get some spray paint at some point today so we can start marking down these ones that we plan on cutting down. And I think these skinny ones, like this lodge pole here, we're gonna just sell to the other sawmill because they would be decent enough to, or easy enough to get with the skid steer. But the big boys, I think we're still gonna have to push around. Like I think there is this one here. Oh no, this one right here that we would definitely want to probably fell it and then move it somewhere in this vicinity so it's out of the way while we have construction going on for the new sawmill. But those are some items that we'll have to tackle later on. It is such a good month for contracts for doing some harvests that we're gonna definitely take advantage of that, and we're gonna have to get to $150,000 to be able to get that good sawmill as is. But I think the reason I really want to do that is you can see this is going to end up being a little access road here. We need a lot of equipment and we need to clear a lot of trees. So the idea that I have in mind is if we get a better production going with a larger sawmill, we'll be able to get income coming in a lot quicker, which would then in turn allow us to make money a lot faster to be able to get that equipment to clear the land even faster. So the first step would be getting the sawmill, but you know, to get to step 1, we need the money. So let's take a look at contracts. And a couple really good ones here, $47,000 to do, what is this, corn? I think I'm leaning towards this $42,000 one for soybeans on field 27. Let's go ahead and borrow the equipment for that. And we'll get in the harvester first. We got the claws here, and I'm debating here. Let's take a look at the map. Yeah, it's a long drive. We will set this up on the header trailer. This looks like a pretty good area to park the header trailer here. Let's get that detached, and hopefully there's not too much traffic. Oh, there's a car flying by that we're gonna run into here. Foggy morning. I might speed up time. I actually think I will to get it to be a little bit more friendly for us here. Let's get this all unfolded and get ready to do this harvest. It looks like, gosh, the field looks smaller on the map than it does in person. Oh boy. All right, let's get it to where the fog disappears and we will get time slowed down. I want to make sure I keep track of that. I think that'll be pretty good right there. And then we're gonna go ×2. Didn't see that car. I was looking at the time. And we'll get set up here and get going. This should be a pretty hefty effort. And we'll probably, at some point, hand this over to a worker to help us. I mean, we definitely will. Let's see. We need to lower the header. We want to turn on the header. And then if we start getting in here, we should be able to then set this up on a course with the guided steering, the steering assist. All right, let's jump in here. We'll go steering assist. We're gonna do, well, drop my controller. We're gonna do 2 headlands here, and then everything else should be fine. So we'll hit OK, and then activate line. And we'll go ahead, man. This adjustment to controller, as I talked about last episode on the Alma series, has been enjoyable. I think it's going to make a lot better for just the camera movements than it is with the mouse. And I've also already enjoyed using front loaders a lot better with the joystick versus the side panel and the mouse for sure. But let's go ahead and get this headland done, see how well this does for soybeans. And as always, we will probably figure out cruise control on the controller, get that going, and also speed override we're gonna set to about 9 miles an hour. That's about how I like to do harvests. Let's get her done. I'm just playing around with the controls here to figure out the buttons, and gosh, I am surprised at how much I'm enjoying controller on this game. So we are going to, let's go ahead and get cruise control activated. So the big thing we're looking at next is we're spending some time doing these contracts to make money to get to the sawmill, and we're taking advantage of this in October, and I believe there's probably going to be a little bit of harvesting in November. I'll have to look at the calendar on this map to remember, but we're really hoping to get to that $150,000 amount between contracts and selling wood and selling products that we're generating with the mushrooms and the tiny sawmill. And at that point, which should set us up to start, you know, making money a lot quicker. We know the sawmill is a great way to make money in this game. So once we get that going 100% established, we should be able to make money a lot quicker and be able to get some equipment that'll help us clear the forest a lot quicker as well. I do have Terraform installed. I'm excited about that to start making some roads. And that's the path we're going down. It's super exciting. A little bit over a quarter of the way through the second headland here and only 75% full. So this is going to be a beastie little contract. Not a lot of stopping, so it'll be nice once we do hand this over to a worker. We'll have plenty of time to, you know, go unload the trailer and then come back and not really have to worry about missing anything. So we'll head them down this part of the second headland here. You can see, man, what a beautiful difference of terrain in this field. Those rolling hills are gorgeous. But we'll get this to 100% and then we'll get the trailer over, finish the second headland, and I will probably hand it over to a worker to do the ups and downs. Seems to be the way I really enjoy doing these harvests. And we might get to the end of this pass. This is impressive. The capacity is impressive, but it doesn't seem like the yield's very good on this field for this farmer. I mean, soybeans do go a long ways financially, so maybe I'm just misremembering. But I do want to hop out and take a look after we get to 100% here. And we'll probably stop either way at the end of this pass. Be a good spot. We'll go all the way through and get that little bit I missed on the turn, and then we'll want to temporarily shut off the harvester. Not shut off the harvester, we just want to shut off the header. The Voltra and the power tube. 32 miles an hour shouldn't take too long to get over to that field. If I can back up correctly, there we go. Yeah, we got it moving at ×5 now so we can do legitimate amounts of contracts. I don't want to just run it at ×1 and abuse the system. You know, having a fun playthrough here, but also keeping in mind that we're not trying to exploit things, because I feel like that's when, okay, car, keep going. The enjoyment starts to dip is when you start really exploiting things, and we did talk about that a lot. So let's get back to it. This contract should be done hopefully around noon. And we might be able to sneak another decent sized one in today, but I do want to get a little bit of prep and wood sold in today's episode to make sure we are making progress on our farm and not just doing contracts. And pulling up on the harvester now, 17% done, and just doing the first load. That's pretty good. That's a lot of, you know, focus time on just harvesting and not a lot of unloading time, which is what I do enjoy. So we'll get that unloaded. Let's go ahead and crank this thing back up so we can get going as quick as possible. And we got, just remembering the buttons here, pipe in, I got it. All right, but this is gonna be what, about 50% of this trailer? Maybe a little more than 50%. So we'll only be able to get 2 full hoppers before we have to take that in. Yeah, about 60% there. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and get set up to go back and finish this headland. And then we'll probably unload at the end of the headland because of the capacity. And that should set us up pretty good to hand it over to a worker while we drive the first load in to the selling location. Well, that's not even close to being full, and we're done with the headlands now. So we will set it up with a worker, but I do want to jump out here and take a look at the yield just to kind of know what's going on with this farm, with this field. You know, let's get this lined up a little bit better first, and then let's hop out and take a look here. So we're showing, oh, we won't know anymore. It's because of precision farming. Okay, we will do no ups and downs on the AI worker, or just ups and downs and no headlands, and we'll get them handed off now, and that'll allow us to switch on over and get this ready to start unloading. I mean, that took a good chunk away, 23%, making good progress. This is gonna fly by now that we're doing it this way. We will wanna stay on this side of the field though for when they turn around, and then we can start helping them unload. And we'll get them unloaded. I think we will take this all the way to the end of this pass, and then it's probably not gonna fill it up all the way, but we will take it to the sales location either way. I mean, it might, it's still going quick. And now it's slowed down. All right, we'll see how it is at the end. We'll take it in either way. And to my surprise, I think it is gonna fill it up. Lovely. To about 30,000 liters here, and we need to figure out where we're going. All right, looking at the contract, we are going to the grain elevator, which isn't very far away, luckily. It is just to our right. All right, it's nice to see different parts of the map. We haven't been over here yet. This grain elevator's pretty sweet. Looks like this is the entrance road for it. Nope, we were wrong. It is not a drive-through. Unless we just need to open the doors. We might need to open the doors. Okay, let's just turn around here and see if that is the case. Yeah, just have to open them the first time. That's kind of sweet. We could be good patrons and close it, but we're not doing that. We're gonna leave it open. Gonna leave it open, no reason. And boy, it's gonna really depend on, yeah, that's kind of pushing the limit on the equipment we can bring into this thing. Interesting. All right, let's get this dropped off. See how that treats our contract here. Get all them soybeans going in. Roof hitting a little bit, or the top there. 38% transported, so we will need to do 3 loads, it looks like. Well, 2 loads and a partial load. The markings on the road look so good on this map. Like, look at that. Loving it, man. And they're already heading back. They're doing good. We won't be able to unload them much here. We might be able to sneak in there, do a quick turnaround here, and get them a fresh harvester. Yeah, not bad. Get them a little relief here. And I'm going to let them continue on their way. All right, taking a little break from the contract to come back in here and refresh ourselves. So we do know that this one's gonna want to go. There we go, got an X there. We'll get one marked here as well. And did that one mark? There we go. And then this big boy. And at that point, I think I want to knock these down, get them out of the way, get the stumps removed, and then see if we have enough room. But now that I'm in here, I feel like these ones are gonna need to go too. We'll get that marked. That one. Actually, we'll keep going. I mean, all of these are going to go eventually, but we want to, you know, baby step this. We don't want to overdo it. Wear ourselves out too much. And then flattening this area will probably be required as well. I do want to make somewhat of an opening and keep a little bit of the tree line. So that one will have to go as well. and potentially this one, but then keep the big boy right here. Like these two might be able to stay. And yeah, let's get a little more better marks on some of these. Yeah. All right, gives us a clear vision of what our goal is going to be later on. Now I got to head back and see if it's time to unload the tractor or the combine. Only 52% full here. We're going to keep going until we get the trailer or the grain trailer completely full. Then we'll go drop it off. At that point, they'll probably be able to finish the harvest. And I might spend a little bit of time starting to chop down those trees so we can make progress on both at the same time. All right, let's see. Let's start from the opening because that might be helpful to move those ones around. I think we have enough room to fell it this direction. Yeah, that gives us a good idea of the space we're working with here. We'll go ahead and get this all trimmed up. And we'll want to do, I believe it's 6 meters to get the most money for these. So our tool should be set to that. Let's make sure what our helper is set at here. And yeah, 6 meters, I forget. Yeah, it is set to 6 meters. So we should be able to just cut right here. And then go to the next one and just chop all of these down that are on the purple mark. Or as close as we can. And that should get us the best profit when we do sell these as logs. Not bad. All right, I'm going to keep busy here. And I'll keep you updated. All right, made some good progress there, but we need to unload this here, and I think this might fill us up for the second time. So I got a good amount of trees cut down, started loading them on the trailer. Nice to be double dipping here on our efforts. And that did fill it up. All right, let's go drop this load off, then we'll come back and unload this, and we might, be time to just focus on this and get it done. Not too many more passes to go. I'm not sure how full they're gonna be, because we didn't relieve them very well that time. Looking good. All right, I think we can cruise in. We're gonna see if we can cruise in this way as well. There might be some problem with the height of the trailer, but I think it'll be okay. Yeah, that should work just fine. Maybe. Let's see. Is it? I can't tell. No, it's not hitting on this side. I think it's gonna hit when it gets to the very top there. Yeah, and then it backed up just a hair. Oh, that's unfortunate. But I think we're gonna be able to pull it off. Maybe. What happened up here? Haha. Turn the wheels this way. We should be able to pull away. Wow, that was fun. All right, let's get back. Let's get it unloaded. It's 87% done, so we should make really good cash on this. The color of this road is sweet, too. My first thought was I don't like that the roads aren't like finished roads, but they look good like this. Well, we made it. Looks like they just have one pass to go after this. We'll unload them, and we'll just probably follow them around the rest of the way so we can get to the sales location as soon as possible on this contract. Oh, no, it's going to be more than one pass, I think. If that's the case, we'll get a little bit more done. Yeah, we'll get a little bit more done over here. And looping around here for the last time on this contract. A little over 1 o'clock, which is a little bit longer than I was hoping for, but it's all good. See if we can get this thing to about 70% full so we can get a good payday here. Not quite to 70%, but we will take another 20,000 liters here. Let's go ahead and head in and see what our payday is going to be. Moment of truth. I'm hoping this puts us around 20,000 before even turning in the contract. It might be a lot more than that. Oh yeah, look at that. 27,000. Let's hop in here and turn in the contract as well. Activated. We want to collect. And we're sitting at $79,000. And I think we have our first load here. We'll get out of the trees so you can see it. We're gonna drive this in and make some money off of lumber as well. Yeah, we can back out now. Not the best load, but let's find out where we're selling this. And there's lots of options, but we're gonna go today to the paper factory. This would be an interesting business endeavor as well over here. Let's go ahead and just cruise on up. We should be able to just hop out here, and we do want to get these unstrapped. Make sure you're using the right keys there. We'll unstrap them all. I think that got all of them, and then we hop up here. And we want to, no. We want to go right here. That was 7,800 bucks. All right, we're at $87,000. So that did help. The mushrooms and the lumber that we're making will help as well. So let's go ahead and get home. We'll regroup, take a little lunch break maybe, and see what we want to do this afternoon. All right, there's some little scraps on the ground still that we didn't sell. I did want to take this opportunity to see how close we are. We haven't cut down every tree that we marked yet, but I do want to kind of pop out here and see if our plan is going to work. And where are we? There we are. Okay. So if we sneak in here, we said these 4 we wanted to go away. And then over here, we wanted these to go away as well. So that means, yeah, like about right there. All right, let's grab this sawmill. It's going to be close. We're going to have to get those all down and double check. We might have to go with these ones as well, which if we come in here and take a look, that would be these ones too. But I think the best course of action is to get to these trees, the rest of them that we marked, cut down and see what we're working with. But also, we're not going to have the money quite yet. Let's see how our productions are doing. Well, we need to set up a blind out here. Pew. Yeah, still 1 mushroom. Production is getting close to 2 more pallets there. And over here, we do have 1 plank, and we're getting close to a plank's long, and a wood beam will probably be tomorrow. All right, so we got all this in here. I think we just need to kind of move it around every once in a while, but it is slowly taking all that wood from the first big tree that we put in there. Oh man, there's so much to do. I definitely think it'll fit. We just need to start clearing the area now and save money. Well, we've been busy. We got another load here. We're gonna try to avoid this school bus, but let's see if we can back out a little bit for you guys. This might be as far as we can. There's the load there, a little bit better than the last one. I took a couple of the bottom parts of the bigger trees to see if that would, you know, up our ante here a little bit. And I wanted to see if this actually can take us all the way there by taking the road this time. I'm not sure. Looks like this is someone's private drive, though. Nah, I'm not sure they're wanting us to take this path, but maybe I'll get to know them and they'll be okay with it. All right, here we are at the paper mill one more time. Come around over here and hit the magic button. Yeah, that was 18 grand. That was a lot better. The big trees are the key there. All right, let's get home. I think we're gonna look at some equipment that we want to purchase that's gonna help us clear the area and kind of do a little bit of math to see how close we are to pulling this off. All this pretty red over here is awesome. Beautiful time of year here in Minnesota. All right, let's get parked. We should be, you know, making some money soon. So there's some things, oh, let's get that shut off though. There's some things we want to think about, and a time-saving stock check is going to be helpful to kind of do a little bit of a balancing act here to figure out if we wait through the winter, will we have enough money? And one of the things that I do want to find out is if we sell this about roughly $17,000. All right, let's go into the store. Let's find what we're looking for. Now, this good old Fiat Alice, the AD9. I want to see if they can find it used. And I am continuous search about a year. We're not really wanting that. So we'll create a search assignment for a broker. You can choose one of 3 options. Normal search will be roughly about a month with a 65% chance. The longer, and then, you know, so on. A longer assignment increases the search area and chances of success. So what happens? I do want to find this out. We are going to go with the extended option here. And we're going to risk $1,400. The used equipment broker has gotten your assignment. Upfront fee of $14.82 has been deducted from your account. Keep an eye out for a notification from the broker when the search assignment has ended. Okay, so I hope that comes in because I don't want to pay the $35,000. I'm hoping to get that used. And I'm not 100% sure how that's going to show up. But we are going to sleep. We're going to make it November. We got a lot done. Let's go kind of look at our area over here. We do know that we need to clear the ground and get it flattened and get it prepped for the sawmill. So yeah, there's some shrubs here that are left, you know, little branches that we didn't take last time. We can do that on a different load. These bigger trees I was hoping to save until we get the sawmill here and we can just put them straight in the sawmill. There's one here and a little bit left of one there. But we do need to get the area cleared and these stumps taken care of. So that's some stuff we can do over the winter while we let the mushroom production and the sawmill kind of make us some cash. And yeah, let's see how things are looking in the morning. We'll see if there's any contracts that are worth grabbing. And we'll go from there. Okay, let's see what's on special. nothing for us. So I don't know if we missed the notification by sleeping or if it just hasn't happened yet. I think the best thing to do here for us to see what's happening is look at time-saving stock checks. So we're 32,000 about of dollars here. And if we kind of just wait till March, we'd probably have enough cash. But let's take a look at contracts now while we wait for our beautiful potential used equipment to come in. So 40, I think we have to do this. I think we do. We're going to borrow equipment, take advantage of what's left in the year here. Unfortunately, it's the same harvester, but that's okay. And what field are we going to? 18. All right. I will see you over there. Man, it's a foggy morning, so I think the field we're looking for is directly in front of us. This is the farmer we're helping out here. Let's get this unfolded. And it looks like there's a field entry over here, but is the header gonna fit? I think I can get in there. There we go. All right. That was a little rough there. We'll go ahead and lower the header, get it turned on, and get into this field and do the same thing we've been doing. Let's go ahead and get our worker enabled. Not our worker. We're gonna do the headlands again. I think I like doing 2 of them. We'll get that set up. And it'll allow us to get a little bit of this work done before we hand it over. This is quite the field. It's quite the morning too. I think we're gonna speed up, get the sun out here because it's hard to see what's going on. Search is successful. Look at the sales tab. Okay, we're gonna stop real quick. We are at 64%, but let's take a look at that now. There it is. That's 29%. It's not a huge discount, but we are gonna purchase it and we're gonna go into combinations on that, and we're gonna buy for 2,500 the dozer blade as well, and we will take a look at that later on. Let's get this contract done first, but we got something fun to look forward to. Unloading the last bit, we should start making money here. Looking great. This is way more than I thought we're gonna have. We got 28,000 just from the extra harvest, and then we come in here and collect. We have enough money for our sawmill. Let's go prep for it. All right, this thing's loud. This thing's loud. We didn't get the truck out of the way. We should have brought the truck to bring it back, but I kind of do want to just start from right here right now. Let's see. Okay, this thing stops on a dime. All right, I believe what we do is we switch to this. We have the leveler right now in stone. Terraform is dirt. I gotta learn this stuff, guys. Activate machine. Now, what do we want to do here? We lower this? All right, I think I got it figured out here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna come up here. We're gonna lower it. Remember how to lower it? No, not that way. We want this. There we go. All right, so we got it lowered now. We're gonna just drive forward. Make sure we keep it lowered. Want it to be at least green there. There we go. Raise it up a little bit. And we're just gonna paint the terrain here. Gonna paint it and get rid of the shrubs. I'm struggling with my words here because I don't know exactly what I'm doing, guys. I'm just kind of winging it. But we are just learning Terraform together, and I think we want the road to kind of turn this way. We'll probably adjust this 17 times over the years. We'll go like so. That clears out a nice path there. Let's go ahead and raise this so that we don't damage anything we don't want to. Yeah, that's sweet. Now we want a little entrance into the sawmill area. So we're gonna start clearing this well, we're just gonna completely clear this area for the sawmill, get an idea of how the terrain's looking, and then after that, we will, figure out exactly what the next step is. And we'll get stuck on the stumps, but this is already looking pretty sweet back here. The colors in this is amazing in the winter, and the dirt texture is unbelievable. Or in the fall here, that's looking good. Let's go ahead and raise it so we don't make any more damage. I don't know how I got the hazards on with the controller. I pushed something. All right, let's shut this off and let's take a look here. Yeah, we might want to do some grading here later on to make this a little bit easier to deal with, but look at that beautiful entrance to a sawmill. My goodness. So I think what we'll want to do is start up here for the flat area, and then we'll want to push the dirt that direction a little bit. Maybe get some dirt from the back to flatten it out here. Man, that's pretty good stuff. All right, the next step is gonna be getting rid of the stumps. Probably should have left the log forks there. We're gonna regret that later. Oh, look at all of the goods over here. The mushrooms are coming in. Oh, it's our lucky day. Progress is starting. I love it. We'll be farming our own fields before we know it. All right, let's get that. Well, we could probably take this. I just like the scenic route. Let's take the scenic route. There's a couple areas that we are going to need to smooth a little bit of the grading. But yeah, let's go ahead, and you're right on the entrance of this dip, but we'll do that when we fix the whole thing. And yeah, just we can continue on to the rest of the farm, soon to be farm, or we can turn into the sawmill. Let's get rid of these stumps and make this look even more like it's ready to be live. All right, I'm gonna struggle with these. I'm embarrassed. I'll see you guys in a minute. I think we didn't check is if the sawmill's actually gonna fit in this area, and it's starting to get dark. Let's slow down time a little bit. Decent area here. This is awesome. I like the way this is turning out. All right, I need that tree gone, and we need the entire area. Okay, so I think with the entrance that way, I'm going to, yeah, we're gonna put it about right there, but we got to get the tree out of the way. Okay, all right, terraform's off, so we won't do any damage. I mean, the log grab might have been better to like chop it up. We're gonna have to do that later anyways. That might be far enough out of the way. Okay, let's get that lifted, get this out of the way, and let's get back in the sky and try this out here. All right, it will work. Overlapping on some objects, but right there will work. I want it like that, but I think we're gonna force this right now. Oh, because I see the issue, and we will take care of that. But let's turn it a little bit more, about right there. All right, let's take a look-see here. With free mode, it will place it flat, and I will have to do the terraform, which is completely fine. We're not gonna do that with the tractor, but we have a little bit of an area here that we're gonna want to flatten out and get rid of that tree. But so far, let's move this out of the way because I just want to get a good look at this entrance in the fall. My goodness, this is a sweet entrance to a sawmill. That looks amazing. All right, let's do a little terraforming here. We should be able to, I'm trying to get a good angle to show this. We want to start the cursor probably about right here, and we'll start going just straight across all of this area. And I don't want to increase the strength because I don't want that to break anything or go too fast. I don't know how this is looking, but I wanted to create a little limited textures on this map, and I wanted to create like a rock face here. So we'll have to see what that looks like during the day. Getting close here, but man, that is a sweet entrance. Hello everybody, and welcome back to SWU Farms, a survival let's play challenge that we are working on FS25. Last episode we used all of our money to invest in a brand new sawmill prior to really finding out if our current sawmill was going to be enough to make us a ton of money. We also installed this beautiful mushroom greenhouse that is producing a good amount of mushrooms for us. We have everything stacked over here so far, prepping for when prices are at their best, which looks like it's going to be March. So just kind of keeping things organized so that when it comes time to sell it, we can, you know, load it up pretty quick and get it over to the sales location. But right now the plan with the sawmill is to just let it go through, or the little sawmill here, to let it go through the 12,000 units of wood. And at that point, we'll probably repurpose this land here and go ahead and sell that and make a little bit of cash from it. But we did take the couple of large trees that were in the back here that we had pushed to the side last episode and have loaded them into this new sawmill. And we have the leftover from that didn't fit here that will be accepted soon. Let's see how much of it we can actually get in there. And nothing. Okay, so it is pretty much at capacity. I was trying to cut these pieces to be a little bit smaller to be accepted, but we'll have to let it burn through some time. I did a little bit more detailing off camera here. We did remove one tree here and that's actually in the sawmill as well to flatten this area out. So we should have enough room. We might need to cut down another row of trees here and extend this flat ground out a little bit farther for maneuvering around the sawmill. But that's a task for another day. Today we're gonna start clearing another area for our next project over here. So we have this entrance road that comes in, and to the right we go to the sawmill, but here we wanna make a brand new entrance for our next production, which I believe what we're gonna go with is the stone processing plant. So we got the chainsaw out to start cutting down the trees. We have a lot of them marked already. And the big ones, gosh, these ones are just gonna stay around and slowly get fed into the sawmill. But these other skinnier ones, just like we did last episode, we will load up on the trailer and make money instantly from them. So I'm gonna get busy. I think what we'll do, since we know we're gonna sell these skinny ones, let's prioritize those first, get all those sold, and then we'll have a little bit more room to maneuver around the big trees when we fell them to get them closer to the sawmill to prep to be installed there. Well, this feels like a good first trip for the day. So let's go ahead and work our way to the store, and we'll check the sales locations and see which one's the best price today for lumber, for wood, and make some money. So I'm excited about this. And there are contracts that there is a contract that I'm wanting to see if we can get, and we'll do that after we get to the store. But there is a snowstorm coming in around 2 o'clock, so it might be 1 o'clock. So I want to get to that contract next, and then we can get back to our preparation. This one might take us multiple months, but it's gonna be worth it. Let's get to the store, make some money off this wood, and then look into that contract. So I believe we got $18,000 for our best load at the paper mill so far. So we're heading over to the sawmill here in town, but this is the place we will be selling today. This sawmill here specifically. There's a lot of sawmills in this town, a lot of competition for the businesses that we're getting into. All right, let's go ahead and unstrap there and see if we are able to get all these sold in one go. I have a feeling that one's gonna be out of the spot. Yeah, a couple of them are, and we'll just help out a little bit here. So that was 10,000 already, and then another 12 or 2,000, so just over 12,000, almost $13,000 today. Not a bad start. Let's go ahead and head over to the dealership so we can be in proximity of our equipment we're about to borrow from this farmer to do a contract for him. There is a cultivating contract for $20,000 that we will be doing today. Look at this case quad track. This should be fun. Should have enough power to do this. All right, and we are headed to field 26, which is all the way in the south. I'll see you in a few. I think we're getting pretty close to not having time to do contracts anymore. We're gonna get busier and busier on our own property. So I'm trying to make as much money as possible while we do have the free time and the ability to do these contracts, because money's going to slow down a little bit if we can't. We've been making a lot of money off of contracts. I think we made over 90,000. It might have been over 100,000 last month off of contracts. So this one's going to be a little bit less. Got to head up this road and then take a right, and we'll be heading towards that field. But man, loving this series so far. The progress we're making is pretty sweet. We're going to do the stone production next, which means we need to save up money for the cement factory. And then potentially we'll be building our own house and maybe our own sheds. I'm not satisfied with the buildings that we have available to us to build on the constructibles. So we might put one down, do the whole build process, and then replace it with the sheds we want. Is kind of the way I'm thinking of getting around the lack of good options that we have. Is this our road? Yes, okay. But yeah, that's kind of my thought with the constructibles, and I do want to earn everything, and I think this is going to turn out to be a pretty fun series. And I've been kind of giving a look at where I want to start making those fields, and that'll be coming pretty soon. I think after we get through probably this winter and spring, we might get to the point where we're clearing land enough to start thinking about buying a tractor and a plow potentially, or the equipment we're going to need for making that farm, and or getting to actually farming our own land and not just doing farming on contracts. So those are the plans, and let's make another 20 grand here, and it shouldn't be that bad with this huge equipment. Like, all these fields are bigger than I think. When we look at the map, like, you look at this, it doesn't look that big on the mini map, but then you get over here and they're good size. All right, and we're set to go on this contract. By default, we can go 7 miles an hour. That's not bad, but we're gonna push it. We are gonna push it. We're gonna change cruise control down to about 11. Speed override there, and see if this tractor can handle that speed. Get this contract done a little bit quicker. That's the way we enjoy doing things. I'll see you on the other side. Well, I feel like this is my size of a contract. I do like this. It's a good enough to get some farm work done and enjoy it, and not too long that I feel like we're missing out on progress on our own property. So I think we found a good medium, and we're just done with the 2 headlands here. Now I'm trying to figure out, it is going to want us to go this way for the ups and downs. That makes sense. When we get to the skinny part, you know, most of the skinny part of this field, as we look at the mini map a little larger, you can see to my left right now, there is a skinnier area, but most of it was done with the headlands. So, you know, we're at 54% already, struggling a little bit up this hill. But I think this contract's gonna be fine without us having to use the power tools, but we'll see at the end there. Well, 91%, a little bit left to do. I think we're gonna be okay. I don't know if there's been an update yet to precision farming to fix the bugs with the contracts, but either way, we will prevail. We know how to fix it. We'll get it done and get back to making our new production area. 99%. Yeah, we got it. We got this one. Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and start heading home. But first, collect our $19,827. Gets our total to $33,000 for the day. Not a bad start. I think we will head back and do a little bit more lumber work and see if we can get that area completely cleared and potentially see if there's any planks at the sawmill yet, at the new sawmill. We did kind of leave in a hurry last time, so we didn't get to see the progress that we've made. So this area is cleared out here. We got, yeah, a good amount of stumps to take care of still, and these trees here to fell, these ones as well. This one I can't seem to get the branches to go away, or let's just show it. So if we go into the map, super strength's on, nothing is letting me grab this, and then when I have the chainsaw, nothing's letting this go away. So I don't know what to do here. Kind of hoping that disappears when, let's try the skid steer here. Let's see if we can pick this up, or if it's just a weirdness of these tree types. I've noticed the limbs on these ones are a little strange. The colors are really different, where I don't know if this is a base game tree or not. Yeah, just we phase right through it. I had a feeling. So I don't know what's going on with that. That might be there forever. Hopefully it goes away when we reload in, and it might be worth finding out right now. Otherwise, that's gonna be kind of a pain. But let's go ahead and get this parked, and I am gonna save and reload. Let's find out together. It's still there, so let's see. That should be fun. So this limb, this first one that looks like a snake here, that one does move, but this one just is gonna be here forever, I guess. We'll figure it out. It'd be similar to, you know, the box in Newlands that was in the grass field all the time. That showed up after a map update. All right, so these big ones we're going to keep around until we can put them in here, but we will clear the area, but we're just prioritizing those last. We'll probably start making a pile like around this area, and then we'll be able to just push these in here. So nothing produced yet, but we're close to some planks, and gosh, this is sweet. So let's see if we can get a little bit more of this in here now. I don't know why none of this stuff, like it can't be. Oh, no, some did go. There was some smaller chunks that went in, but this one's got to be less than 1,000. You tell me that's, what does it say? Yeah, it's nothing. It's 47 liters, so I guess it'll be fine. It needs to get a little bit lower before it'll actually accept some more, I think is what's happening there. So let's get these other ones that we're going to, and I'm kind of worried about the limbs on this one now. Maybe we won't delimit and we'll just deal with it on the trailer that way. So let's get the rest of these cut down and get this area prepped. Oh, we got it. I got it. All right, it magically delimbed. Okay, so now I'll just work it on the rest of this one. Oh, okay, that makes me feel better. Hopefully there's not another one that becomes a pain here, but just got to find the sweet spot, I guess, on these. Yeah, these ones are the ones that are being a pain. It's turning out nice, though. This map has a perfect setup for what I was wanting to do. I can't wait to get this part done today. This is going to be sweet. Well, it appears that the snow is starting to get here, and we have another, you know, janky load here going to the sawmill. And we're gonna make a decent amount of money on this one, and I think that is all that we're gonna sell today. The rest we're gonna move over and prep for the sawmill. Though I'm kind of thinking we could have 3 or 4 sawmills, the amount of lumber we're going through. Let's go see how much this one's worth. It should be a good payday, like I said, and then we'll get moving on clearing the land a little bit more, the ground of it, and getting it prepped for the new building. Though we might have to wait a couple months until we have enough funding to pay for that building. You try to get a better approach here. See if we can get this sold in one go this time. And I think that's gonna do it. Things don't fall too far off, which I think they did. Let's see. 19,000. Yeah, that's our biggest payday. I had a feeling. And do a little bit more there. Just one little shrub. It's a little stick there. So we're at 53,000. All right, now it's time to get over there. The big trees we do need to move, but this snowstorm, I don't know how bad it's gonna get. It's gonna get a little wet over there from this snow. 53, that's not bad. I think it's 80 grand is what we're looking for. Let's full send this right here. Nice. Yeah, let's get back. Make some more progress. Some more good production from the little sawmill, and it's got 11,000 to burn through. So we're gonna make a good amount of money just off of this before selling it. So hopefully it burns through all that before March. But just this little one here, which I think we can just take over to the sawmill. And we got a couple here that we prepped. I decided to just leave these ones and we'll push them over when we have capacity in here. I think that'll be the easiest way to deal with it. And then we're gonna have to get these big trees cut down too next. Though this one I'm tempted to leave, though I don't know if I can get the X off of it. Should have thought about that before I did that, huh? All right, so let's get this fired up. All right, so let's back up and make sure we have a good view of what we're doing. So I kind of wanted this to be kind of like a 4-way stop eventually. So yeah, that tree's definitely gonna have to go. That's why we were thinking that, not a 4-way stop, a 4-way intersection is what I meant. So let's go ahead now and lower it. Get it lowered, yep, to where it turns green. And we'll be able to start creating our entrance here. And just kind of clearing it and turning it into dirt everywhere that is clear so we can see the working space we have out here. Yeah, this is fun. Terraform is amazing, guys. Check it out. Yeah, I'm gonna get this all prepped and then we'll take a look when we're done. That's pretty good. We'll have to get these 3 trees out of the way to see if we are correct on the size. You know, the size of this building will dictate if we're gonna clear more trees. So we'll do the same thing we did with the sawmill. Even though we don't have the funding yet, we can still get an idea, but I do want to get these 3 trees moved over. Yeah, let's get them cut down. There we go. Make sure we can find a spot where we can cut it. We want to go as low as possible. That'll do. Okay, this is gonna be awkward. So the 3 trees are cut down, but how are we gonna move them? Okay, let's make sure that's not activated anymore so we don't accidentally paint. I don't know if this is more powerful than the skid steer. I imagine it is. And it does look like the tracks are going backwards on this thing. Did get a comment about that. No go there. All right, here. Oh, come on. Should have done one at a time, buddy. Definitely gonna need some stronger equipment around here. All right, that doesn't seem to be too bad. Now, if we can just get that out of the way enough to be able to see if the building's gonna fit, I would be happy with that. So let's get this cleared so we don't damage it. All right, we can get back over here and start pushing this to the perimeter as much as we can. Yeah, let's get a little bit farther up here, about right there. Nope, got to go to the edge, I guess. Right there, we're having better luck. Maybe I lower that a hair and then lift it. Yeah, we're lifting now. Let's try this plan again. We're just gonna have to shimmy this a little bit. I think if it might break loose from the other tree. I'm wondering if we just cut a couple limbs here, if that would be the best course of action. Broke these things free from each other. Like if we went about right there. Now let's see if that freed us up to push this a little easier. It appears to, okay. So we don't necessarily want it on our access road, but got to get it clear just to see. And it's got to go all the way to the sawmill eventually, so we are kind of pushing it the wrong direction right now, but that's not bad. Yeah, that's just a cluster here of trees. All right, I'm gonna get these things sorted out and then we'll rejoin you. Now looking at this, I don't know if this is gonna be enough space, though that looks good. So the thing I was kind of thinking is we have this sawmill here. This road could naturally be an entrance here as well. And so we could have 2 entrances, or an exit and an entrance. Let's find this production and see how large it is. So it is $99,000. And this is one that has snapping issues. So it has to go a certain direction. And I think right there is where we're going to want it. I just want to make sure. Yeah, that's actually, we'll push it back as far as we can. But that's enough space cleared. The next thing we'll do here is we'll swap out implements on the skid steer so that we can get those stumps taken care of. Ooh, we got a plank over here. Actually, lighting might help here. All right, we got this turned on. Come on. Those ones are always a pain. Let's just do the little ones and then we can do that one later on. But let's see. Oops, a little too far there. Yes, grinding that stump. That one's taken care of. Let's see if we can get this one as well. Man, this skid steer turns so sensitive. It's so sensitive. All right, let's lower that. Yeah. Just have to get the right spot on these stumps. We got them all removed now. This area is pretty close to being prepped. We just need to wait till we have enough cash, and that's just gonna be a couple months from now. We'll be making a lot of money off of lumber, a lot of money off of mushrooms, but I think we can go ahead and shut that off for now. And I think it's a good time to make it January here. Now let's look at time-saving stock check here. Yeah, everything's good in March still, and it's showing $75,000 already. So yeah, we'll have plenty, but the obvious next thing is we're gonna need equipment to be able to extract the stones. Just because we get the production doesn't mean we're gonna make money off of it. We're gonna need a tractor or maybe a front loader, a trailer to store the stones, and then find a place that's gonna buy the stones until we can afford to buy that cement factory. And we do have snow on the ground here. Let's go ahead and head over to the cement factory so we can find out the price of it. So here we are. Man, lots of snow here in Minnesota. This is the cement factory. Let's see how much they are wanting it for. 370 grand. So yeah, that's gonna take a little bit to save up, but we can see we have 3 wood planks here, or 3 long planks here. 2 wood beams and 4 planks. Oh, Minnesota winters. Hopefully this clears up by March. My goodness. And we have a good amount here still. Yeah, I think let's check over here on the greenhouse. But we're kind of in a holding pattern until the snow goes away at this point. Man, Could we clear the area with our tooling we have? Let me see. What will this do? Not enough power. I think these tracks are just getting stuck. There we go. Maybe we just have it too high. It's just so much snow. That little area right there just made that big of a pile. Oh my goodness. There we can see some dirt. I mean, I believe it. The part of the country we're in. Now I'm super interested. We're gonna get this unstuck, and we should now be on the part that we made actual road, or a dirt road. Now let's lower it. Yeah, just so much snow. Like, I don't even know if the snow equipment in the game is gonna clear up this snow. I can see some dirt now. Yeah, until we get some better equipment to help us take care of this type of stuff, we're snowed in for the winter. Oh, that seemed to work. Pushing it to the side. Yeah, look at that. It's pretty realistic, too. Creating these snow banks. Gotta lift it to back up there, bud. Man. Be out here for hours. We need a snowblower. So I am gonna try to sneak over to around the sawmill, because that's the area that we're gonna need to move some things so that we can keep it populated. But we might not be able to do that. It's just, we got so much snow this year. Can already see the rust on this machine coming next year. Oh boy. Yeah, I think we're stuck. I think we're stuck there until winter's gone. Man, all right, can this stuff get deposited now? I think it should be able to. Yeah, it took it all, so it's at 41,000 again. Just producing a ton of wood chips, a ton of products for us. Let's see what time-saving stock check is telling us now. Yeah, 140,000, so this is gonna escalate pretty quick, but I don't know what we're gonna do until winter's through. Trees look pretty though. Well, I think we're kind of stuck here until the snow melts. So I think this is where we'll leave today's episode. A little shorter than what I wanted to get done, but the weather is kind of dictating what we're gonna be able to do here. And we got this area cleared. We're gonna need to save up a lot of money because we gotta buy the building, and then we need to buy the equipment to be able to, you know, utilize the building. So lots of money coming in though from the sawmill. Between now and March, I'm hoping we have a really good amount. It is March. We got through the tough winter. We have a ton of mushrooms to sell here. We're gonna get these sold. We're gonna get back, and there's a ton of lumber that we're gonna have to move as well. The entire winter, we were producing planks, long planks, and wood beams. And today is the day to see how much money our first winter in production is gonna bring in. Yeah, I wonder if we need to loop around to the other side of the farmer's market here. We'll see if we get an indicator to sell. It's always interesting to see how these maps are implemented. Should be just the default farmer's market, I believe. And it looks like we did go a little too far. Let's see if we can get them all in there. And I think if we just unstrap, well, we got half of them sold for 15,000. Let's loop around. And there better be a lot more on the back here. That's pretty disappointing financially there. I hope we have at least, I don't know, 30,000 here, 14,000. So I think that barely paid for itself. That's not the best investment so far, but let's head back home. We'll start getting the lumber loaded up, and we're quickly gonna realize that the equipment that we have is not good enough. So I'm hoping there's a decent amount of money in lumber, like a really good number of lumber, so we can get a lot of upgrades today. All right, you can see everything's where we left it this winter, which is now gonna be a problem. But we loop back here and we can get set up. Yeah, this is the stuff we wanted to discover. Is our setup good enough? I really think this needs to be brought out to about right here and flattened and just kind of completely loop around for us to be able to effectively work on this sawmill. And then over here is close. So I think that'll be something we focus on next. But you can see we haven't really added any lumber in here all winter, and we still have 12,000. So we have a ton of long planks here. Ton of them. No more to spawn, that's all we have. But planks wise, yeah, everything out here is what we have. There's some that are gonna be, you know, finished soon. That could be part of this load, potentially, depending on how long it takes us to get everything unloaded or loaded up. But we also have 15,000 wood chips in here that eventually we're gonna sell, but we don't have any way to transport that yet. So that'll be something that we definitely need to focus on today. But my goodness, this is a lot of money. Let's find the skid steer and get busy here. It's probably gonna take most of the day. We do want to get this out of the way though. And that tree, it's pretty borderline to being in the way, but I think what we'll do is we'll get this put away, we'll get the skid steer, we'll try to move that tree into the sawmill so that we can get that cleared, and then we'll check over here before we head back and see how close we are to being able to sell that. That's gonna be pretty important today, getting that area cleared up. And we also have the lumber over here we don't want to forget about. All right, that's a good spot for that. So let's find the skid steer, because I don't remember where I left that. All right, we'll leave the stump grinder there. We need to get the pallet forks and start getting these moved. I mean, we're gonna find out real quick if this equipment is gonna be good enough for us, depending on how long this ends up taking. Get that one. That's pretty good. Seems like we're handling it well. Let's take a look outside cab. Yeah, the weight seems to be pretty good here. It's just the height that we're gonna be able to stack these is gonna be somewhat of an issue. So we'll get that. We'll go about right here. Lowered it on there. We'll back on out. Raise that a little bit, and we'll just kind of give it a friendly... No, I didn't mean to grab it. Just a friendly nudge is what we're trying to do. Like so. Let's go a little bit lower so the gravity is a little better. And that should do. What we're gonna wanna do is strap these in so that when we put the next one on there, we don't, you know, interrupt it and bump it off the back, you know, as we do. But definitely able to see what we're doing in cab here. Get this next one. Probably could grab two at a time, though I don't know how wise that is. But we'll give this a shot here. Probably gotta go a little higher and flatter. Let's see if this is gonna work. Just not gonna be the prettiest stacking job this way. There's one, and not too bad. Yeah, that's not bad. It's not that bad. Let's get that fixed. Oh man, it fell off. And left. And flip. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna get all these loaded up, and then we'll rejoin you. Boy, the strap bug. That's pretty ridiculous. That's pretty ridiculous. You know, the comments kind of confirm that it is a bug, but I don't know if it was precision farming or something to do with the auto loading. Yeah, that's quite insane. So if anybody knows the workaround, what I'm gonna do from now on is when I strap things in, I'm going to unstrap them and then restrap them just to kind of like test it out, like do this. And then I think that'll take care of it, but we've dropped so many loads already that I've edited out. That's just insane. So I am gonna just use super strength to take care of the rest of these, just out of pure frustration with that issue. But we're gonna take all the planks long first, and then we'll come back for the wood beams and the regular planks later on. But let's see, while we're over here, 3,000 left, so this is close. I just don't want to lose any production that we're getting from it. And it looks like we do have one more planks long that we can take with us. All right, so let's unstrap everything, strap it back in, and let's find out where we're selling this. Planks long, the best price looks like the carpentry. Let's head that way with 12,000 wood planks long. All right, looks like this is the place to get our wood sold. Ah, we missed a little bit. Let's try to pull in a little bit better there. Gotta hug this building pretty tight here. There we go, that's not bad. We should be able to get them all in one go. That was 68,000. Okay, so that's helping out. That's gonna get us a little bit closer. Let's go do the wood. Well, let's do the planks next. I know the wood beams is gonna be a big payday, so let's do the planks next. And also, I'm thinking money for my goals is gonna be a little short. So let's take a look at oh man. So that's supply and transport contract. If we just had, I think it's this one. There's a bug in the UI. It would be a lot of corn. 186,000 liters of corn would get us $400,000. No real good contracts. Let's see if we can refresh them and get anything to come in. Nope. Okay, we're on our own in March. Yeah, it didn't matter. I did the trick. It's still... Oh man. Well, we did get another planks long while we were driving back and forth. So let's take these 11,000 wood beams that, you know, at one point were stacked pretty, but they're not anymore. And 1,000 planks long. See how high that gets our dollar amount. Then we'll come get the planks last. And the wood beams are going to the farmer's market because that looks like the only place in town that does accept those. And 103, that's good. That's good. Okay, that was more of what I was expecting from the planks long, but we will take that from the beams. Let's go get those planks. See how high we can push this dollar amount. There's a lot of equipment I'm wanting to buy, and it's not cheap. And we're on our way to the store with our 19,000 planks. Should be another good payday here. Got these stacked on pretty nicely. But we need, yeah, like I said, a lot of upgraded equipment coming this year. And we'll do that, but then we'll take a look at our plans momentarily. And one more time to the carpentry with the 19,000 planks. Another business that I wouldn't mind owning. Let's see where our dollar amount's gonna be. Another 82,000, so we're at 335. We can put 100,000 of that aside for the stone production that we want. So that gives us $235 to play with, and let's go ahead and park here and take a look at a few things before we head home. First, I did want to check the used equipment to see if there's anything worth grabbing. 51% off. This 7810. Whoa. I don't. Oh man. It's got the Icera Pro Compact on it as well. Oh, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. This is a good deal as well. But we're not ready for any of that. So let's start looking at our plans. Some of the things we're interested in. This Kenworth truck here is one thing that we're wanting to purchase. And I don't think there's any negotiating that I'm going to want this. So we are going to go ahead and buy it. So that will be 65,500. We're down to 170 is about our budget right now. So the other thing that's going to be super important is to be able to load things from the stone production into that truck. And a wheel loader is really what I was eyeing. And I think we're gonna be, we're gonna be short because I wanted to go with one of these nicer ones, but we could start off with a Volvo one here. I just don't like these ones. They might do well though. Let's take a look at these and see the difference. This one's 45,000 for the LM845. This one can handle 8.6 tons, or it is 8.6 tons. This one is 9.5. I think I want the heavier one. Yeah. And this, I wonder if it'll fit on our trailer. So let's go ahead and buy that. But we're gonna go to combinations, and I want the biggest bucket, 4,000 here. Okay, that's the one we're gonna want. Make sure stones do show up on the icons. They do. Let's go ahead and get that purchased for 15 grand. And we do have enough left over. Let's head over and see if the wheel loader is gonna fit. I have a feeling it's gonna be too wide or too long. But we did pretty good there financially. I wanted to go with the fancier wheel loader, but we're not gonna be able to afford it. And it looks kind of small now. We'll do a little test here and make sure that it's gonna work. Let's make sure it's gonna work before we leave. That bucket doesn't really match. I just wanna make sure it can raise the bucket high enough to dump into this dump truck here. And is this actually compatible? It is. Okay, so we should be able to lift it. Oh yeah, look at that radius. That's not even as high. Is that as high as it goes? Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work pretty perfectly actually. We have to be about right there. Yeah, it looks like that's gonna do the trick. That's lovely. We'll be able to finish this entire project today, I believe. All right, we got the ramps lowered. Just don't know this is gonna completely fit. And I think what I wanna do is back up on this so that we can put most of the weight closer to the truck and just kind of wiggle our way up here. Oh, that fits good. Let's get the bucket lowered like that. Shut this off. Get strapped in here. And hopefully this doesn't go flying off of the trailer later on. Awesome. All right, so this will drive home. I did fight a little. It's fighting a little bit. I feel like we need to unstrap. And I guess it's gonna go right there. All right, let's hop in the new truck and we're gonna get this configured on follow me so we can get it home. Oh, is it not gonna work? Let's try it the other way around. We'll go right here. We'll have a worker drive our truck home for us if we can. There we go. And that is not me in there, so that should work. All right, let's zoom out so we can see it happening. Get going in our new Kenworth truck here. that hopefully its capacity is pretty awesome so we can make a ton of money selling stones. Uh-oh. No way. We'll bring the truck up later. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Okay, one thing at a time. Man, we had to go slow. This thing is wobbly, not loaded very well to distribute the weight in the back of the trailer. But it's getting the job done. A semi would be nice with a longer trailer, which is, you know, definitely on the shopping list. I think a good spot would be probably next to this barn for me to just kind of pull through so we can unload this thing. That looks good there. All right, let's get these straps taken care of. Otherwise, we won't be able to drive off of here. That should be good. Let's hop on in. Got to get this lifted a little bit before we lose her. And rear wheel drive here has us a little messed up. Let's see if we can pull this off. There we go. All right, we'll get this close to where it's gonna live. We don't have the actual equipment yet, or the production yet that's gonna really, this is really gonna be utilized by. And this could help with a lot of things around the farm. But you know, we'll want pick up the stone right here, fill it up, come around, back up like this, get it lifted, just have to turn around and dump it in. And that's the plan. And then what we'll probably do is we'll hire somebody to deliver the stone for us so we don't have to do that drive all the time. All right, I think that's a good place to park that for now. So let's go ahead and see how we're looking room-wise. We got to keep in mind, even after we put this down, I want enough room to be able to drive in here and loop around and exit here, or vice versa. It would probably be better to drive in this way and then kind of exit out the property that way. So that sawmill is definitely in the way. We could sneak by right here for now, but we've got, 3,100 to go through wood. So that's not too far off before we can get rid of that. But I have a feeling we're gonna have to raise some dirt back here to flatten this out, because we're gonna want to push this back a little bit of a ways. But let's get it ordered, let's get it installed, and let's see how it's looking. All right, let's see if we pushed it far enough back. And I think we did. Oh man, that looks nice in here too. All right, we'll do a little terraforming, make sure this is all gonna look good around the whole thing, and I'm kind of digging it. I think I might just do some softening at the most. Like, let's raise this a little bit and then soften it. I like how that foundation kind of looks natural, where the ground's not even back here, but the building is, so that should work good. So now let's turn this to ×5 so we can get a little bit more production going in here. And this is gonna take a little bit, and it's silent. Lovely. Nothing to turn on this production, right? I don't even think it shows up in here. No, it doesn't. It's just all the time loading in some stones. I don't know where they're getting the stones from, but let's take a little bit of a test run here. Almost worried this bucket's too wide. Oh no, it's pretty perfect. So we would lower this. And yeah, we're picking up stones, just not a ton of them. Yeah, and I think we dropped some, but yeah, that's the plan right there. And so what we'll have to do is, 4,000 liters at a time to fill up the truck, and then we can have the truck automated with auto drive to sell the goods for us. Now, I don't think we can just like catch them, unfortunately. But yeah, so some time's needed for that to really get up to snuff. If we can get this thing to stop, let's find a good place for it. I think right next to here would be even better now that we have it, and we can get it decorated eventually as well. But $115,000 still, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Let's find a better place for the Kenworth for a little bit. I mean, it's meant to be if it fits right here. I mean, that is not bad. That's pretty good. So that production there is its own thing. That equipment is dedicated to it, is the plan. This might, go back and forth with some other things, but that truck's definitely dedicated to here until we need it for otherwise. Yeah, nice production. Okay, let's go ahead, and the sawmill has plenty of goods. think there's one more upgrade I think I want to do. Yeah, let's look in the store. Now, I don't know if we will use the setup on here, but I believe you can have a backhoe on here, and it doesn't show in the customization. But I want to try this out, and this is one that I am going to try to find used, and we'll do just a normal search for it, and we'll see what happens with that. All right, let's make it April, see if there's some contracts we can take on, because we need to make more money. Need to clear land soon too, but I need to make a little bit of cash, and then we'll start clearing land for our first fields pretty soon. We're also saving up money for the cement factory as well. Interesting enough, we've jumped into a hoeing contract that is 92% done already. So this is gonna be a quick little dollar amount if we can figure out, I guess, where the 8% is that isn't finished on this field. So let's go ahead and head to it, and it's close to our property, so we'll get that way and see about this contract. It's only about 14,000, just a little bit of cash for us. And what do they have in here? Some cotton. Interesting. All right. Let's head over to field 24. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to figure out where that 8% is coming from, or if we just need to do like 8% of this to get it done, but I guess time will tell. All right, there. All right, so here we go. We'll probably end up having to do this whole thing, is I'm imagining, to find the 8% that it thinks is done, or it's completely bugged, but we'll find out. All right, they got us going this way. We did get 1% of the contract done, so we're at 93% now. So we will see. I think it'll be fine. I think we're gonna have to do just most of the contract, which is, you know, what we're supposed to do anyways. I don't know why the percentage is messed up like that. I'm sure other people have ran into this as well. Interesting times. Looking forward to the new update coming soon. Hopefully it fixes all of these things. Well, the broker did find our equipment. Let's take a look at that. It's 42% off this time. That's pretty lovely. We'll go ahead and buy that, and I hope all the equipment that we have is compatible with this thing, all the attachments. And this has a little bit more weight for us, and I believe the back here can be set down as a weight, but I don't know if I know how to do that. Like a, what's it called? Not a weight, but, oh no, why is that word escaping me? We can anchor ourselves into the ground, it looks like, with those on the back. I'm not 100% sure. But this is a nice little skid steer. Easy control, it says. So we will see when it comes time to use it, but we're just gonna leave it at the store for now. And we're at 97%. We just have what's to our right to do, so I think we're gonna be okay with the percentage here. Either way, I think it'll be really refreshing to do this whole contract and make some money off of it. I mean, it's done with a lot left. That's just the most bizarre thing I've seen. Pretty bizarre. Let's go ahead and collect our $14,000, and let's get in. Let's do this next. Yes, we got plenty here. Let's get this in a good spot. I think that original spot that we were thinking might not be the best. So I think what I want to do is kind of lean right about here, and then we could still leave that way. So let's shut this off for now and get in the front loader, or the wheel loader. How are we doing over here? Let's check capacity. Let's see if we need to add any more lumber, but gosh, look at all that production already overnight. 14,000, so we could do with moving those trees over soon. So we'll have to do that today before we're done. I just want to know, how are we tracking financially right now? Looks like $136,000 worth of goods. This is a way to make money in this game for sure. All right, I don't know how many loads this is gonna take or how long, but we're gonna give it a good go here. And I kind of want to keep doing it this way instead of the way I did with the Riverbend Springs series, where we did, oh no. Oh no. Okay, that's not gonna work. Yeah. Oh boy, the more you know. All right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna hop out. We're gonna do our sales location right here and see if the rear weights do work. We're gonna sell it right away if it doesn't, but we will grab one of these bigger ones here. Let's go ahead and buy that for 4,500 or about after the delivery fee. And let's see, I don't think they're gonna attach though. Does it go that way? I think it would go the other way around, right? Like that. I mean, it looks like it would go in there perfect. Nothing's popping up. So let's go in here. We'll take a little bit of a hit for that. and get this sold. And gosh, I guess we're gonna just take a hit for all of this and that bucket as well, because we're probably gonna go a totally different route here. $154,000. Let's take a look here at some front or telehandlers for 119,000. I want this JCB instead. And combinations, we were gonna, yeah, we're just gonna have to do it this way until we can afford a really big wheel loader. And we did get those delivered, so we took a little bit of a hit there financially, but yeah, that ate into all of our income by having to spend more money on this. But I like this piece of machinery though. Moves around well, and I imagine this is gonna work just fine with a full bucket here. Let's go ahead and sneak up and just fill it up and try it out. All right, let's tip it. Back up. Yeah, the truck's not quite at a perfect spot. Back up here, man, little bumpy. But I think it's because of those. Oh, did I do something with terraform? I think I did. So we'll fix that and make sure that's disabled. And then we want to just tip it. Nice. All right, now let's take a look at capacity in here. That was 8%. Okay, let's get busy. It's not activated. I don't know what happened there. Let's go ahead and clear this stuff with just smoothing. Yeah, it did take some ground out there, which it shouldn't have because it wasn't enabled. But all right, let me get this loaded up. And this thing bounces around a lot, so we will be looking for an upgrade long term. You can see we're, you know, getting there, probably about a third of the way, maybe a little more, close to halfway full. And I'm not sure if we're gonna have enough in here to do the full load, but we're gonna give it a shot. And we are gonna just be selling stones probably daily or every month until we can afford to buy the concrete factory. And then we'll just be filling up the concrete factory as needed at that point. But I do wanna make sure we're not missing and dropping it on the other side. We're not. Let's see how we're doing capacity wise. 53%, not bad. So we're, you know, halfway there for our load for the day. Just a little busy work here. Was tempted to do a time lapse of this, but it is so jerky that speeding this up is gonna look very, like, gonna get you very seasick or seasick motion sickness. I think we have one more load to go here. Interested to see how the Kenworth's gonna handle this with it fully loaded with stones. How slow of a drive it's going to be, and it's definitely something we weren't going to do today. I'll do it in between episodes. I'm going to get auto drive all set up so that once it's full, it can just take off and sell it. I don't know what's going on now, but yeah, that's the idea. Is we're going to fill it up, and then it'll drive into town, drop it off at the cement factory, make its way back, and if we have a ton in here, we could do a second load for a day, or we could just let it, you know, pile back up for the next day and do our whatever jobs we're working on in the background while our worker takes care of delivering for us. Oh, we missed. All right, it is full, and we dropped all that on the ground. Yeah, so the idea once the sawmill's gone is we'll be able to go straight, but we will have to cut a sharper turn here for the meantime. And boy, you can feel the weight in here. 29,500 liters of stone. Not sure how much money this is gonna bring in, but it's definitely a business venture we're going with. Boy, you lose your momentum when you run into a car. We were going 40, we just ran into that car, and boy, it takes a little bit to get up. So we're almost there. We'll see. I have no idea how profitable this is going to be. It's definitely a muscle memory thing that we're learning right now. While we save up money to buy the cement factory, as we've mentioned, I just love it. Like the whole idea of this series is to have, each production being ran on its own. As we get more productions, we'll see that, come to fruition a little bit more. Right now with the lumber, we're gonna have to really do all of that. We could turn it to selling eventually, and we might do that, but we'll buy some equipment that mimics that. We're actually have employees helping us with that, and taking the 20%, I think is what it is, hit when you do sell automatically. And we're not gonna be selling at best price when we do it that way. I think kind of helps out with the eventual issue what we're gonna have with bringing in too much money. All right, this one I was trying to find on my own because I have been here a few times. I don't know if I even know what this building looks like. It's got to be one of these buildings back here. Let's head this way. We better look. We better look at GPS. Apparently we went right by it, and it looks like this is the location. Let's go ahead and stop. And we'll see what kind of money this brings in. Not the most exciting dollar amount there. $4,500 for a truckload. And we'll drive back and we'll talk about what's coming next. We might be able to get another load out of here, but I don't think we would completely fill it up. So we'll leave it as it is for now. But grinding away to make some more money to be able to get that cement factory is next. And boy, this is just turning out great. Come back to our property, like where the house is, and this stuff's somewhat hidden. The sawmill you can barely see. This production you can see a little bit more, and that's because we need that access road there. Otherwise, we could have some more trees added to kind of hide it from being ugly at the house. But boy, it looks nice. Just with the type of trees we have, these buildings look great. I feel like the location of this ended up being pretty good, as well as the location of the sawmill. It's turning out awesome. The next thing we're going to do is, we're going to push back this road a little bit more and probably need to locate where I want to put the workshop, which will probably be the first thing we build and we construct. And I'm kind of thinking this direction, kind of by that barn here. Maybe back here we'll have like a full-blown workshop area with a couple sheds, a garage, to be able to repair our equipment when we get it. We're starting to get a good amount of equipment we're going to have to do maintenance on, and it would be nice to be able to have an area dedicated for that. And then I'm thinking straight ahead is where all the fields will start. And we talked about all plots of land aren't always for sale. This one back here, we've been eyeing it. We need to get a hold of the owner, but they're not doing anything with it. It is just a meadow back here. And I think it's something that potentially we might be able to get them to come up with a number that they're thinking about for this to turn into our land as well. Because, all those trees that we see out here, those are ours. The farther we get over here, let's double check. I think those are all ours. Yeah, everything we see tree-wise is ours. So this is just kind of like an island inside our property. And it would just make sense for us to own it as well. But $350,000, I believe, is the market price. And that could go up based on, what changes around town when it comes to the value of land. But that's another thing we want to keep in mind is it would just make sense for this to be ours. So, but I don't want to do that until we have our own fields established that we've created by cutting down trees. That'll be an expansion that we do. Gosh, this looks good. Today we're going to sell a bunch of lumber and make $83,000. Next, we're going to pick up all of our wood chips and get them sold. And those wood chips are going to bring in a hefty $34,000. Our balance is sitting at $152. Let's head home and start talking about the plans for the rest of the day. And probably at some point today, we'll do another load of the rocks or the stones. It just doesn't bring in a lot of money, so it might not be something we focus on a lot until we get the concrete factory. But we do have the ability to get rid of this sawmill today. We finally ran out of it, so preparing the rest of this road is on our agenda. I want to start getting the automation completely set up, and we'll talk about that a little bit later for the lumber, the sawmill, and the greenhouse on what we're going to do moving forward so we can just progress on the rest of this property. But the first thing we want to take care of is this. We do have, a good amount of planks, long planks, and a little bit of wood beams stuck in the production. So what we're going to do is hop in the menu. We're going to grab our smaller sawmill, and we're going to change the output on all of these to selling. And then it is almost 1 o'clock, so we'll speed up till we get to 1 o'clock, and we should see a little bit of money come in and this thing be completely empty at that point. All right, the money did go up a little bit. Storage is now empty here, so let's go ahead and hop in the menu, and we will go ahead and sell this for another $17,000. I think we'll start about right here as we're just gonna kind of cruise forward and see if we can get this dirt road finished. Just want to clear all the debris here so that it's a clean path for us, and we might have to add a little bit of dirt, but we'll see how this feels driving over it 1 or 2 times. We'll come out this way. I think we might just deal with the terrain and just kind of sneak like so. And at some point we might want to buy some gravel to make these look a little bit better. Get them blended a little bit better, but I think that's gonna do. Let's go ahead and back out of the way with this, and we will head over. I guess we'll try the dump truck and see how it handles this this dip in the road here. And I guess testing it while it's empty is completely doable here. And it doesn't seem, I think it's okay. If we have some issues, we can smooth out the ground a little bit. But let's go ahead and put that back where it belongs. And then there's a little something else I think I do want to finish right here just to make it look a little bit better. As we have this turn here, this slight turn. I think we will go ahead and clear this so that it's more obvious that this is a path you can take. And what I was kind of envisioning is working a little bit a ways down this road and seeing if we can just start establishing where we're going to start the first field. Not going to get to that point today, but I do want some more of this cleared so I can kind of get an understanding of where I want to focus on cutting down trees next. And, you know, we don't have to keep this road long term if we don't like it, but I'm just going to kind of weave through here a little bit. And we could have a field to the right here and a field to the left, and then have this completely lead to that open pasture of what is field 13 that we were talking about either last episode or the episode before that. And kind of just weave through the trees. I don't want to go too far because it's not our property, but we'll end it about right there. And go ahead and lift it so we don't make any more damage. So a little weaving road throughout our trees here, our forests. And let's, you know, these little areas we didn't get very good. Let's try to go over them this direction and see if we can clean it up a little. Yeah, that's good. All right, I guess we'll do this all the way back because there was a couple spots that we didn't get good enough. Another one uphill, up here on the top of the hill. Yeah, that cleared nice. And I do want to take maybe the truck or we'll do the telehandler because it'll be similar to a tractor or a piece of equipment that would use this road eventually. Wanting to keep it as natural as possible, but start making it our own land that we're, you know, is gonna establish fields on. And there's just a couple more things we want to take care of before we really start focusing on shifting our focus to farming. And we'll go ahead and unload this. I was told that if I leave this lower until we get close enough, it won't be as jerky. And that seems to be the case, but it is just a little bit, it wobbles a little too much for my liking. So this might be a short-lived piece of equipment. And actually, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But let's try this road out because this is something we could use for picking up bales, doing a lot of things around the farm eventually. If we ever do get a silage pit, which I don't know if we'll do on this series, but we could use it for that. We could use it for moving around, you know, pallets, all types of stuff. A little bit of a climb there. That might make sense to take some of the dirt away to make that climb up and down a little bit easier to deal with. But the rest of this, not bad. Let's go ahead and turn around and try it the other way as well. And it's just the big bump that I'm worried about right here. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to just kind of go slow. If you try to go fast in the tractors, you might get some air there, maybe even bottom out, depending on what you're pulling. Yeah, the nature of this is just beautiful. Okay, so that seems like a good solution there. And we'll go ahead and get that shut off for now. But let's talk about the sawmill, what we're going to do. We got another plank. Well, this one's stuck over here. This might be here the entire playthrough. It's just, even with a auto load or super strength, I can't grab it. Auto load won't grab it. So we might just be stuck with that. But what we're gonna do, so we have 12,000 wood. So our job is gonna be to populate the actual production. And then after that, we have all the equipment we need to move all of these goods. We could use this to move pallets. We could use the new skid steer. We could use, you know, get another pallet fork for the telehandler. And we have the truck and trailer that we've been loading these on. But to keep making progress in this series, I don't want to load pallets all the time. So we are going to hop in here and make a change to this production. We're going to change all of this to selling, and we're going to lose a little bit of money from it, and it's going to sell constantly. Every hour we will get some sales going, but that's absolutely how I want to run it. We're going to do the same thing with the greenhouse. We're going to hop into the greenhouse. We're going to change these to selling. And we have automatic watering already, so that's taken care of. So there is a cost that comes with that. I believe it's 80%. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't done this yet on 25 as much as I did on 22. And I know there is mods that help me with that, and I changed it to like 95% instead of 80%, which is the number I keep remembering, but I could be wrong. So what I want to do next is I want to grab this, and we'll get the pallet forks onto it, and we're gonna see if this thing can handle pushing around those logs a little bit better. We do have a couple big boys over there that I want to start moving over to the sawmill. $176,000. So this is going to be the last job we're going to do for April. And then at that point, we'll make it May, and we'll see if there's some good contracts to do, but we're still working our way towards the concrete production. That's going to be a little bit of a grind. A couple months of lumber really would pay for it. But that's one of the last things I want to do before we start tackling getting some farming equipment. And to do so, I think in May, we'll probably start clearing land on where we're going to want to put that first field. I know we talked about our workshop, which we will get to very quickly. We're going to need it. I think getting the concrete factory would be a little bit of a good upgrade to help us out. Are we going to be able to push this thing? We might have to cut this into smaller pieces. But yeah, the concrete factory will help us to be able to start building our own constructibles like we talked about. And, you know, we already have the lumber. So at some points, we'll have to shut off selling, and we'll start, you know, making an inventory of lumber here locally, and goods from the concrete factory we'll bring over. Yeah, I don't know if this is stuck on something. Is it hitting this tree? Not yet. But I guess we could do this in a couple pieces here. And we'll go about right there. We shouldn't lose any volume going into the sawmill by cutting this tree. All right, we'll see if we can handle that a little bit better. Seems to. Let's let it completely fall. Let its gravity get fixed there. And I'm not sure what this is catching on, but it's a little too big for the log forks to be able to actually grapple it or grab it. I was hoping we had a little more oomph from this skid steer. It doesn't seem to be the case, but you know, with how the volume that these trees actually are, we don't have to do this very often. So some of the trees we're going to cut down today will probably sell directly because we can only store so much lumber. And we could start making a nice pile. Maybe we clear a little bit of the land to the left of the sawmill that can start becoming like a storage preparation area for bringing lumber over to the sawmill once we have the capacity unlocked. Oof. Just kind of wiggle it back and forth here. And I think that should be close enough. So we have 12,000 now. Let's just see what happens. Jumped up to 23,000. All right, so we're going to get this completely full and populated as much as we can with these big boys, and then we're going to make it May and see what we want to work on, see where the money's sitting after actually selling the stuff overnight. And we'll see where we want to go from there. We were at $176,000. Now we're at $241. So we can see, you know, we're making good money overnight. Okay. This is 300 and like I've used this tractor a lot, but for $140,000, we could get 352 horsepower to start with. I just don't know if we can pass it up. Let's look at what contracts are looking like. Just fertilizer right now. Prefab walls, man, 20,000 prefab walls. See, these are things we might start thinking about. Okay, so I think we know it's a couple months before we can buy that production, and contracts aren't looking good. So I think what we're gonna do, yeah, man, I don't think we can pass on this. We're gonna buy that. It's gonna stay at the store for now. We do need to get it repaired over there, so that's fine. We could do some stone, but I think we are gonna buy the conveyor belts just to make it a little bit easier, because I'm not really wanting to deal with that. And we will, and we might do this today actually, is set up the auto drive course so where they can just loop if they need to. Okay, but we'll need a tractor to run the conveyor belts, depending on the ones we buy. So let's go ahead and head down our road here. We know we have the sawmill, and we might want to bring it out a little bit farther. Now let's go over to field 11 here and see what the size of this is, like actually walking it. I was kind of hoping to keep a tree line, and we might actually build our own. Can we see exactly where the property line is here when we click on this? Okay, so we're in their field now. If we come about right here and we look at the property line, we're still in there. So it's about this tree, and I am gonna mark that so I can kind of kind of know this is going to be marked because it's our boundary, and that gives us a good indicator that X might be there forever. But then I think we have another tree. Yeah, about right here. Oh, the creek might actually determine what we're going to do. It does end, but yeah, I guess that's not a lot of space. So maybe we keep walking out this direction. Just survey the land a little bit to see exactly where we want to start adding these fields. And I think what we want to do, the road is way back there. It's right there. So maybe this area. And I'm kind of thinking we want just like a wheat field to start with, and maybe get some chickens. Man, but where do you start? This dip here is gonna be interesting. So I guess let's go up to the road. Like if we wanted to mimic that, the field entrance was here, and we want to keep a good amount of these trees, but yeah, I guess we could start with this cluster here and that cluster. So I'm just gonna start marking. I'm not gonna mark all of them, but where there's a cluster of them that we want to take down, we'll do that. And probably this cluster here. Not going to get all of this today. I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of a view of it. Can we make these go away? No. Oh, the can's empty now. Ah! But that's a lot of work to start with. Yeah, let's get this, just kind of delaying the inevitable at this point. Start chopping some trees down, and gosh, a tree harvester would be so nice right now. Probably should have bought that instead of the tractor. Okay, this is getting a little out of hand at this point already, but we did cut down a few trees, and now it's time to get these moved. And we got a lot of work to do on them still. But let's head over to the John Deere, because I am kind of thinking about a few things here. Let's head over to the repair station, because I want to do that first. Only 17 hours on this thing? What a smoking deal. And maintenance doesn't look too bad on it right now. And yeah, there's $3,000 to repair. Let's go ahead and do that. $3,600. Oh, I did want to look at some customizations too. Let's see. Let's go in here and try to customize. I think no front loader on this. That's right. And we spent the rest, or a good amount of our money on this log trailer here that I think is going to be super helpful with what we're doing now. Loading them on there. We still got to figure that out. I think we might see if there's an attachment for the telehandler, but now we're at 22,000. So let's get this home. But this is going to be nice. Be able to sell a lot more logs at one time with this. Yeah, should be good. Probably end up pulling it with the truck long term, but since we were here, I wanted to, just get the John Deere home with us, and it's probably just gonna sit in the shed for a while until we actually get a cultivator or a plow to start doing some field work. Big upgrades. Yeah, I think the telehandlers, or not the telehandler, the skid steers are definitely not gonna work anymore because of the height of this trailer. So let's go ahead and look at the telehandler attachments now. There is a log fork. Okay, that is our plan, and we're gonna have that delivered. All right, here's that bad boy. Let's see if we can figure out the controls here. Well, I figured out how to close my door, or open my door. All right, let's see. Let's get this to, okay. Oh, there it is. All right, R1 and left and right opens that. And then L does this. Okay, that's not bad. But first, I guess we need to get some of these trees prepped. But yeah, this will be good because it can definitely grab those trees. So, all right, time to get the chainsaw out again. We'll start delimbing some of these and start getting them added to that trailer and see how much we can clean up this area and, sell some trees. Still haven't fixed it to where we can just drive under these things, huh? Just would be real nice to be able to sneak under and not just push them. It's just sad to me. There we go. And then we can close that. We'll back out so we're not stuck on that tree. But I'm wondering, like, we have these at 6 meters. What's the size of this trailer? I should have paid attention to that when we bought it. Looks like these are going to be a little, no, these might be perfect actually. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, we got to be careful here. Got to be a little bit more straight there. There we go. All right, now we can tilt this and go ahead and open that and just drop it in. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. All right, we're gonna get busy. Oh, now there's an R9RX for sale. What is happening in this town? Man, good sales. All right, this is probably all we want to do for the first load here. It's got on here pretty good amount of wood. So we'll use this. We'll turn around in this meadow here. We still haven't met this person to find out if they're going to be willing to sell. Oh. Forgot about the turn. I can't see. Let's switch to this mode. I think this will be easier out here. Hopefully we don't get the trailer stuck on anything, but we can loop around. And then we're going to head on into town to the sawmill, get this stuff sold, see how much this brings in. We don't need to, you know, again, we have our sawmill that we definitely have plenty of trees to fill up, and the bigger ones we're keeping here for that purpose. But these ones that make it really easy to do the lumber work like this, yeah, we're definitely going to sell because... Oh, that needs to get moved. Who did that? I mean, we're starting to get some equipment that we're not using very often, but I love it. I love all the options we have. Let's see if some of this can get taken right now. Oh, all of it. All right, we're at 47,000, so we can start prepping some more, bring it over here for when it's ready. But let's double check. Let's see where we're taking this. And oh, there's lots of options. This is the best price. Let's head there. See how much this load brings in. Our first time selling with our new trailer. We're gonna drive the tractor. We'll give the truck a break, but we'll probably switch to the truck eventually because it does drive faster. But I feel like this is balanced really well with the tractor pulling it. It's a pretty good looking load there. All right, we've been here before. Now we should be able to drive in here just fine without having to back up. So let's go about right there. So we got it unstrapped. We got pulled in here. Let's go ahead and see. 23 grand, that's not bad for one load there. All right, let's get back. We're gonna keep, well, that's why we didn't back in. We're gonna stay busy clearing that land, and we'll report soon, but $47,000 every hour. It seems like we're making about 3 grand off our productions right now, and we'll want to improve that long term. We spent a little bit too much money to be able to afford the conveyor belt system, but we'll definitely get that soon. A couple months time, we should be able to afford that. And we're going to keep an eye out for used equipment moving forward for everything farming we're going to want to do. You know, getting the fields cultivated or plowed. I'll probably lean towards a cultivator. I just don't enjoy using plows in this game. And then, you know, a seeder. We need a harvester. We're going to need something for fertilization. We're going to need something for surveying the dirt. We're going to need something for lime. We got a lot of equipment. It would be nice to maybe get a couple more possible revenue streams going as well. But there's some detail. That's pretty slick. Well done. You know, and wanting to do the concrete production still, that is so pricey. We might run into a situation where it's going to take an extra year to get to planting the fields. But like, I think this is all tracking to where we're going to be making a ton of money and moving pretty quick still when it comes to getting all the farming equipment. Just got to make sure we do all the prep work before we go full in on farming. Yeah, I just love driving into this and the progress we're making, especially in this mode. We have to widen that road a little bit. Yeah, get that set up. That seemed like a pretty good spot for it last time. And yeah, we got to turn that off when we leave. But we have all of this stuff that I want to take over to the sawmill. I just didn't want to chop this down and put it on that trailer. Same with the big boy here. And then there's another big one over here right now, and the top of another one of these trees. What are these called? The red pines. Man, so much to do. I'm a little overwhelmed, guys. A little overwhelmed, but I do want to finish what we started, the things we marked, and I think I'm going to add this cluster here. And then I don't know if we'll clear all this just to get a view of it. Yeah, let's get busy. So I think we've hit our capacity here. We're going to go ahead and head in with another load. It's almost noon, so we should see another 3 grand pop in probably before we even get there. So we should be sitting at about 52,000 before selling this lumber. And I have a feeling this might be about a $30,000 load here too. But we're gonna have to go real careful around the turn so we don't tip this because it's pretty top heavy. Yeah, 52,000 is where we're sitting now. It's 12:07, so we just missed that. But yeah, it's nice to have income coming in every hour like that. Maybe another greenhouse, you know, maybe start growing that area. But We got to clear lands. Really, our focus right now is really clearing land so we can get some fields going. And I think we're going to do one more load after this. And then we'll take the... Oh, what is that even called? It's not a bulldozer. Is it a bulldozer? Oh, that one's not going to... That might be okay. That might be okay. Oh, just this one log. So 25 grand plus 2,000. That's not bad. We're back to $80,000. Yep, let's go get that last load. Oh, a couple of limbs here didn't sell as well. So we'll grab those. Those are light enough for me to pick up. Boom, boom. Yeah, you know, 150 bucks that was sitting there. We didn't want to take that home with us. All right, let's get back. We got one more load to do for the day. And then we will, like I said, we'll clear the land, the grass at least, to see it as dirt. It won't be an official field until we can get a cultivator or a plow, but it'll definitely tell us how close we are to the size of field we're looking at. Sorry, school bus. And if it's a good start or not. But, you know, we can baby step it. We can start with a small field to begin with. They're going to be small. Let's get home. I just love it, guys. I know I say it a lot, but I just love the way this is turning out. Let's drive in here. You can see how much we've opened it up. I think we're going to want to go wider, though. It's going to be a real skinny field. And this, gosh, it's a little more work than I was anticipating, but it's getting there. It's getting there. And we'll get a better view of it here in a little bit, but there's going to be a lot more clusters that need to go away. I want to just get this... Was it 3 trees here? We might not even sell them. We might just preload them and then get the bulldozer out here and start seeing how the size actually looks as we... I don't know. I just like to see it as dirt, and that'll tell me how we're progressing. But we're going to cut these down into the right size, then we'll get them moved over into the trailer, and then we'll get going with that. And just getting the equipment moved so we can start taking a look at the size of this thing. Not quite the load we'd want to sell there, you can see. Not bad, though. Good amount of lumber. And let's get us a nice prep for the next load that we're going to sell. But let's go ahead and hop in here. We'll lower this, make sure it is activated. And we're going to start just clearing a little bit to get a good view. And I might even just kind of work around some of these trees that we haven't cut down yet to kind of give us an idea of what we want to cut still. Like, I think I want to just go behind this group and really kind of work my way around and just clearing this grass by just turning it over with the bulldozer here, the little tiny bulldozer. I think will help us get a good view of it, a good visual. So we start looping back here, getting closer to the neighbor's property there. But I'm gonna clear what I think is a decent start, and then I'll show you what it looks like. We'll try to jump in the sky and see if we can get a decent look at it when we get done. Yeah, jumping in the sky here, we can get kind of an idea. It seems small. But you can see if it starts there, loops around, we'll want to get rid of these trees and go all the way back here and get rid of those trees as well. I mean, it's not that bad of a start, but I think we do want to widen it. I think we will probably leave the area over here for the sawmill and keep working this direction a little bit more, a few more of these clusters. Boy, that's a lot of work, though. It's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be really rewarding. 83,000 liters of seeds for 374,000. Wow. That's a contract. Yeah, I think next we'll get the stump grinder out, start working on some of these stumps, and we might need to bring in some dirt and fill this up and raise it a little bit. I think that would help with the fog issue we're having here at 120. We still have some fog out here. But yeah, we'll definitely want to push back that direction. We'll work on these clusters next that are inside the field area already, but we definitely want to push it back that way to give us a little bit more room to make a field. What is happening, everybody? I am really enjoying this series. I love the way it's coming together. This little entrance we have. Probably need to get a little bit cleared off right here, but this road's turning out great. But all the comments have been awesome. Loving the pace that we're doing here, and it's gonna be a little slow today as well. I'm itching. I am itching to get to some farming, but I do want to get a lot of things taken care of, and I think one of the things I want to try is to get that pallet unstuck. But the main task at hand today is to automate our stone delivery process, and we'll see how much farther we get after that, because it really shouldn't take much time. Yeah, this thing's just kind of... Oh, it's moving. we might be able to get it. But yeah, it shouldn't take much time to automate the stone delivery. Video wise, it might take a little bit of time IRL that I'll be editing out, but you'll see in a minute. Let's get this. I definitely didn't plan on starting the episode this way. But one of the things that someone said was if I get the forks stuck to where they're almost attached, that I might be able to then use the flight mode to fly away with super strength and break it loose. So let's come from this side. Let's lower it. Yeah, this is not what we wanted to show, guys, but we're doing it. And let's try to sneak under. The other thing, yeah, I just don't know if it's actually, yeah, it's not actually attached. The other thing I was trying to do, and I kind of messed up the recording, is I was trying to get this unstuck, and we were using the skid steer here, and it just couldn't really get it unstuck. You can see a little bit of our tracks here. It's just in there. It is in there, and it's gonna live there. I feel like it's just gonna live there. Not too worried about it, not too stressed about it. We have 33,000 wood in here. A couple of trees that are just, they're kind of waiting for their day to be able to get, you know, accepted in here. So we'll come back to that later on. But last episode we did clear a good amount of land, and I kind of want to give you an update. Are you serious? It just, we were grabbing it and walked away. It works. All right, let's put this down right here for now. Okay, that's hilarious. That makes me happy. That's funny. But yeah, I did a little bit of work off camera, and there's some selling that we're gonna need to do of logs. And this area we haven't trimmed yet because I do want to do an actual field entrance here. And so I wanted to see the actual field size. But look at this. It is all cleared now. Everything that we not mowed, but terraformed around. All the trees have been removed. We got the Silverado out here with a load of lumber, and we have another decent sized load prepped right here. So that should be some pretty good money right there. So that's another item we'll be focusing on today. But let's get time rolling as the storm hits. As we do that, let's go ahead and switch over here, and we're gonna try to do this. I debated if I wanted to do this on camera or do it off camera, and I have decided on camera is the way that I want to go with this. So we're gonna drive, and it's gonna end up being a loop. And these, I don't know why they started that way. Let's see if I grab this one and delete it. Thought I could just hit delete. Okay, they're not connected anymore, so that's good. And we have to be super careful with our turning here, so we're gonna want to go pretty slow and get this course exactly how we want it. And there is existing auto drive configuration on the main roads, which I think we might try to utilize. Last time I've done that, it just hasn't really worked out well, but we're gonna be patient with this one, and we're gonna try to get it all configured correctly. So let's go right here, and if I hit middle mouse, I then have access to all of this. I want to do that, but I also want to grab this one and move it a little bit. And I thought there was a way to round this corner. I don't know. The thing I'm worried about now is if the mailbox is going to be in the way. So that should connect that, but then also coming home, we'll deal with that later. But we want to also have an opportunity to turn left out of our complex. So let's go ahead. We've shut off recording, and we're just going to start taking this road and seeing where all of this connects, and then we'll pick back up with recording our routes once we get to where we need to customize it. So we're going to take this road as far as we need to. There's a main road up here quite a ways that we will take a left on, and then we'll get closer, and I'll let you know once we're making any adjustments. I'm itching to get to farming, guys, and I do love the pace that this is moving, but I am itching to get to some farming, and there hasn't been very many contracts that are going to help satisfy that itch. So we might we're gonna fight the urge is what I meant to say, because I do love the pace this is moving. It's going to be rewarding, and I've beaten that dead horse, but I really believe it, guys, and I think you guys are enjoying it too. So thank you so much. Let's get this done. Interesting enough, the existing course already has the intersection created. I wonder if it actually works. Oh, the brakes are rough. I'm glad I wasn't recording the track right there, but it does look, it looks correct. So let's go ahead and keep going. Lots of weight on this. Ooh, rough. And we're gonna do a ride along and make sure this works once we get it all configured. How about this upcoming intersection? Is it gonna be completed as well? Let's see, as we get close here. Oh, it's just a continuation of the road. Perfect. So that should work fine. Okay, this is the entrance to the building. How do we want to do this? So I think what I want to do is get at a pretty decent spot in here. Sorry, bus. I'm going to ignore the existing track right there, and we are going to hit record, but I want to deselect that. I don't want those connected. I want it from here to there. And that's probably not what we want either. So let's do that. We'll go from here to here, and we'll cut the corner into the grass, which I think will be fine, but we are recording now. So I was a little concerned about the space in here that we're gonna have. So we're gonna come close, and that's why we're using this vehicle, so we can use the same size. So we see the indicator, we're gonna pull a little farther forward, and then we're gonna add the target, and we're gonna call this Stone Production. And we're gonna turn the wheels as much as we can and hope this works out. Let's get to where my camera will move again. Just a sharp turn there, not a lot of room to work with, but we'll come up here on the right side of the road, and if we do this correct, this should be pretty slick. Come on, give me another one. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now we middle mouse again, and I'm gonna make it to where they can go either direction here, and then we're gonna shut off recording. And I am going to take the quicker way straight home. But you know what? We are here. So let's go ahead and sell the stones that we have, so we can do a real test of this. All right. So let's stop R1 and triangle there and make about 4,000 bucks. Now, as we've kind of talked about, this isn't going to be a huge money maker that we're setting up until we can afford to buy the building. We made a good amount of money when we slept between May and June, but I did spend that on the conveyor belt system. Oh, we'll get home a lot quicker with less weight too. So, all right, I will see you at home. Let's send it though. Let's send it. Nice. All right, we're looping around to mimic that we're coming home, because we'll be taking that same route home. And I do want to move one of these as well. Let's grab this one, and we're going to pull it back to about right here. And then I am going to pull forward right about here, and we'll turn recording back on. And then we need to disconnect these two. So click, left click, left click. We'll disconnect them. And then I want this one to come into there. And I also want this one to go into there. And that should be safe. But we are recording, so let's try to do this good. There we go. Adding the dots for us for our route here. And let's slow down a little bit to do this a little safer. Get a little tighter camera view too, I think will help me. And start turning. And right there, I do want to stop. We'll hit middle mouse again, and we'll connect these two. And then I want to turn off recording and get this in the right spot to add the targets. But you can see it's already filling up, so that's probably about where we want it anyways. So we'll add target. This will be stone pickup. All right. So now, what happened? Did we move? Did we run out? It might be off. We might have to get these things enabled again. Let's see. Activate. B. Oh, that did it. That did it. Okay. So that should be going now. So we want to change the setup. So it's going to be fill up here. We're going to fill up at stone pickup. No, this isn't what we want. And then drop off at stone production. I think that will do it. So once this is full, if there's enough, there should be, we will hit the power button on here and see if this thing works. This is what I think we want. We did stone pickup, stone for the pickup location. For the unload location, it'll be the stone production. And what we are loading is stones. In theory, we should be able to just hit that now, but why is it doing that? Interesting. That's okay. They put the cover on, but it's still working. So right now they are drive to loading points, which they already are. I don't know why that, oh, that X is there because I don't know how to delete it. We'll figure that out. We could just move that. We're at 73%, and that's because we're that far back with the stones. How slow is that gonna be? We could sneak over with one of these buckets. I don't know if we could fit though, because we could push the rocks a little closer. The thing I don't want to do is move the conveyor belt farther back, because then the conveyor belt's gonna just bounce all over the place. Kind of like I am with my driving right now. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to sneak back there. I think we're just gonna be patient here. And that's the thing, right? Is I kind of want this to just sit here for a while once it's in full motion and wait to get filled up, but it's not always gonna be the case. Can we pick things up with super strength like this? And then unload it? I mean, that would be sweet. Or if I had a shovel, move this just a hair closer. I think that did it, actually. It did, so it's picking up everything that's in the back now. Okay, problem solved. But do we have another 17% there? I don't know. I think we're gonna be good. 3%, 2% to go here, and they're full now. So let's see. Here we go, drive to unload points. Let's see if they can make this turn without hitting the tree. Awesome. I mean, we could turn that off so it's a little more enjoyable to watch. 5 minutes and 38 seconds to go. And that's just to get to the delivery point. So you can see how once we have this going, we could babysit it until they drive away. Now we have at least like 11 to 12 minutes before they get back. So we could be doing another work. And if we wanted to do another load, you know, we do about 10 to 12 minutes worth of work. They come back. They start filling up. We might have to be over there in the vicinity. That's what I don't know. But what a beautiful process if this works on the first try. Nice. They were going 50. They're slowed down to 25 to be able to take this corner, though they're going a little wide. Okay, we might want to, let's go in the settings. Let's adjust the corner speed a little bit slower. Let's go. We are at 100%. We're going to go to, I don't know. We're not going to follow these a lot, so we're not really worried about how slow, as long as they make the turn safely. And I think 85% will give a shot, and then we'll adjust from there. Yeah, and I think this is gonna cause us, you can see there's a traffic jam here. We're gonna shut off traffic. It takes away from the realism, but I do not want to deal with the fact that there's traffic jams that we didn't even cause on this map. All right, getting back up to speed here. 23 seconds it says, but I think that might be thrown a little bit off. I don't know how that recalculates, but might have gone a little too far on turning down the speed, but we'll see. The big question I have is turning around after we drop off the stone. I don't know why they're covering it. That's so funny. Seems backwards. Oh, they did hit. Okay, so let's turn these on. And we're gonna have to grab all of these and just pull them a little bit away from that. But right now I will just grab a little bit. Did that help? Boy, this is a heavy machine here. There we go. All right, we will do a little easier test in a minute to see if we did fix that. They're dumping. Are they going to be able to turn around though? This tree might need lumberjacked, but this is also, you know, the end of the map is right here, so we'll see. Another $4,400. All right, you can do it. You can get home. Crank that wheel. Crank it. Crank it. Success. All right, let's get in right along with them. This is the question here. About 6 minutes to get home, because we adjusted the cornering speed, but they're calculating it. They're figuring out the right path to take. Awesome. All right. If anything happens that doesn't work, I'll let you know. Otherwise, we'll rejoin you when we get home. Oh, they're going 80 now. Hard on the brakes. Wow, yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind it's going to take 6 minutes with us, because most of the time, like I said, we're not going to be following along like this, so we won't even feel it. My guess is they're going to run into the belt. We'll know in 2 minutes. Moment of truth here. Let's see how it goes. That slow turning might help, though. Yeah, no way. They're not going to clear it. They're going to run right into it. Okay, so that's somewhat of an issue. Now I got this all messed up. So Okay, God, that's bizarre. There we go. Okay, it fell better. All right, so it's sitting waiting technically. That might be, yeah, I think they still would run into it. But we can get this a little bit better on the ground. Yeah, and there's no way that's gonna run out here. And the way we have this configured, we can just have this worker sit here until it fills up. But I'm pretty satisfied with that. Even if we have to help like we just did, man, we can get a lot of work done. We can, you know, get notified when they get back. I think it's a good setup. Yeah, and it's out. So now it's just gonna slowly. So let's go ahead, jump into the Silverado now. And let's go see what this first load is gonna bring in. I really want that cement factory, so we might try to bust that out in the next month or so. Now, I don't think we're too tall this time for the sawmill. Should be able to drive right into here. Okay, unstrap. We do have that plank I brought with us just to get rid of it. 25 grand. I think, is that our best? I think that's close, if not. And then I believe the carpentry is right around the corner that we can get this sold to. That's a nice light pole. Yeah, straight ahead, actually. Should be able to just do a drive-by selling here. 4 grand from that. We'll take it. We're sitting at 134,000. The sawmill, gosh, I need to remember this. The concrete factory. The concrete production is what we're thinking about here. Cement factory. And let's visit it. And let's go buy 370. Yeah, that's a price tag. Hey, look, the colors make sense now that it's on the right vehicle. Look at that. Yeah, driving in this way gives us a decent idea of the size. It's not big enough for sure. And not as an impressive of a load as we did last time, but we are here. I'm guessing about 15 grand. There's a couple big boys in there. 16.9. So we're at 5. We're at 154. And we're gonna swing by the store here because I think we are going to take a look at contracts and save us a little bit of drive time. So just some spinach harvesting with 2 harvesters. Those are big fields though, aren't they? It's not that big of a field actually. This one's a little bigger. We have some hoeing that we could do, which always seems to be quick ones. Yeah, let's go ahead and borrow, and then we'll do the thing that everyone asks me to do is just accept this contract and use the same equipment for both. It should let us do that, right? I hope I'm right. So even with the precision farming bug fixes, it didn't fix anything on this map with this percentage on the new patch. Interesting. Get these 2 contracts done, bring in a little bit of money. So we're pushing towards that $370,000 amount. Might need to cut down a lot more trees to pull this off though. And we're heading over to the second contract. We have the first one done, but we will not be turning it in so we can keep the equipment to do the next one. Not the biggest payday compared to contracts we've done before, but you know, we did talk about, we were progressing a little quick with the huge contracts, but you know, it is a lot of work. It's not like we're not doing the work. We're putting in the time. Let's knock both these signs down at once. Let's do it. Yes, that should make the people happy. All right, will this automatically set up? It does. All right, and let's get this lowered. All right, this shouldn't take very long at all. And with the bug in the contracts, it might just be the headland, but have it done. Could you imagine in real life borrowing someone's equipment to do a contract for them and then going to a totally different field that they don't own to use that equipment? That's what we're doing. Headland's done and the hoeing contracts are complete. Let's go ahead and collect our money. Puts us at 166. What else is there? Let's take a look just in case. 26,000 for spraying. We'd have to buy the herbicide, but good gosh, that would be a good contract. Let's borrow the items and shut the truck off. What is the capacity in here? Let's buy one and see how it fills up here. Consumables. Herbicide. A feeling it's gonna be more than one, but that's all right. Let's go ahead and fill this up and see. So if we buy 2, yeah, it eats into the money, but it'll still be a good payday. Yeah, let's go ahead and what I wanna do, I think there is another spraying contract. Yeah, we're gonna just accept this one and we will buy Another contract is started at the moment. When did that become a thing that's gonna just cause my game to crash? Contracts plus, nice bug, man. I don't know how much we lost there, guys.
I love modders.
I just get frustrated. All right, due to that bug, I think what we'll do is just order one more and see if, we'll see if 4,000's enough. At least we have the tram lines to drive in when we're cutting across people's fields. All right, this is a big boy. Decent sized field. I don't know if 4,000's gonna be enough, but you know, there's one way to find out, and that is to do the job. All right, and away we go. I don't know if I've used this piece of equipment. This is pretty slick. Number's not dropping too fast, so we might be safe with just 4,000 and not have to go back and buy more. 3% done, 2% capacity already used. So I think we're gonna need more, but let's just do it and see. And that contract's done. We will not be using that vehicle moving forward. It turns so bad, so bad. All right, I think it is time to head home now. We're up to 197. All right, we have one more month in the first year. Can we earn just over $170,000? Boy, we're not gonna do it this episode, but I do want to sleep and see where money's sitting in the morning and see how close we're gonna get, how many contracts we'll have to do, how many trees we're gonna have to cut down. And how are we looking over here? Oh, we reloaded, so we're gonna have to turn this back on. That is right. And then activate it. Not bad. Let's see how full this is. 24%, so that's pretty slick. Let's go ahead and sleep, and then we'll come back and look at that and see how money's sitting. And the auto drive is going to need to be reconfigured as well. Alrighty. Well, we're at 250, just about 250. So that means we need 130. Let's look at contracts. Just get an idea of what we have. Fertilization, no real harvesting. So I don't think we're going to pull it off. We're not doing that contract, even though it gives us 2 pieces of equipment. It's not happening. Not gonna pull it off in year 1, but we're right around the corner from that. Let's make sure we have lumber too. We might need to cut this tree a little bit. It looks like it did accept one of them when we reloaded, or we lost it. Who knows? Let's cut right here and see if we can get 13,000 around. Not bad, pretty close there. Just like to keep this fully populated as much as I can, just in case we do go a couple months where we forget about it, especially since it's, you know, making us money in the background while we're doing other things. I think if we cut it right here, that's pretty close to 50,000. All right, I think that is where we'll leave today's episode. Not the longest, busiest one, but like we've mentioned multiple times, this pace that we're going at is what I really enjoy. We're not rushing it. We're not, you know, making mistakes because we're trying to get things done quicker. We're just slow rolling, getting this farm set up, and I think it's coming along pretty nice. Well, I did a lot of prepping. I had a lot on my mind on what I wanted to do next and a few decisions to kind of figure out. You can see we do have a trailer full of lumber, and that is because we cut down everywhere that I have decided is gonna be the first field. I think we are gonna raise this ground a little bit and figure that out. But I think this is where we want to start. I want to start making progress when it comes to farming, and I think this will be pretty good. We have a couple of these trees that we're going to want to move into the lumber yard area, the sawmill area, but there's these other 2 that we could potentially try to cut down or to fit into the trailer. And you can see there's a few back here as well. I got a little out of hand. But what we want to do long term, and I do have somewhat of a plan now, is we have the road here. We're gonna keep a little bit of trees that really just connect to the road, that are just on the edge of the road. And then everything in here is gonna get chopped down. So what I did is, you can kind of see with the leaves in the way right now, but this entire path directly in front of us has been cleared, and everything to the left we still have to cut down, and everything to the right on this side of the road we're gonna keep. Today we are wrapping up year 1, so by the end of today I do want this field to be actually created, surveyed. I don't think we'll get as far as planting because I don't think there's anything we can plant in July, but it'll be completely prepped for that when the time comes. Let's go ahead and hop in here. We'll head into town. We'll drop this off, get that money up, come back and do this next load, and then I think it's time to completely prepare this field. That means we have to buy some equipment. I originally did want to get the cement factory, but I don't think we're gonna quite pull that off today. It is definitely still on top of mind and what we're saving up money for, but we're gonna start somewhat making progress on multiple things at the same time instead of just focusing on the cement factory. There's also 3 pallets there that we do need to sell that I keep forgetting, so eventually we need to get those sold. But let's get over there, see how much this brings in. Probably about $20,000, and then we'll get the rest and, you know, get to farming. Finally, on SWU Farms. And we have arrived. Let's go ahead and unstrap these bad boys. Get this dollar amount here. Wow, 22,000, but look at that. All right, they dropped. Okay, are these out of the zone? Yeah, so we'll need to pull in just a little bit more, and then we can hop out and get those sold now. And just a couple more dollars there. 299. So we're still over 100,000 or just under 100,000 away from the concrete factory, and you know, the decision was made to, you know, make progress. So we're gonna spend money today. Drop that dollar amount a little bit, but it's still the main goal going forward. And maybe one of these days we'll be able to leave here without hitting a light pole. Doubtful. We do have the rock production or the stone production back in operation. They are heading, I'm not used to driving with the controller yet. They are heading to the cement factory to sell some stones right now. What we're gonna do is lift the conveyor belt a little bit higher, and I think that'll solve the problem we had last series, but we gotta send it first. All right, we're gonna get busy over here prepping these to go into the trailer, and we'll do another trip, but we'll probably see the dump truck coming back soon, so we'll wanna help them out or make sure they're able to just keep doing their trips today. And the dollar, I should get an indicator of when the dollar amount goes up, and that'll give me a good idea of how close we are to seeing them back. About 5 minutes round trip. Money's going up right now, so they are selling. That's so cool. So cool. And we can even just kind of just hang out here, and once it stops, we know we'll see the amount we're making off of the stones today. And I'm trying to keep yapping, but it's going forever. So a good $4,400, and might be able to get that a couple times today. I don't think we'll quite sneak up to, you know, 300,000, but we can get somewhat close. Well, I think... No way, it worked. Guys, we tested it. It worked fine. Why did you get stuck? Okay, well, that means only one thing can be done here, and that's this. But they're going fine. She'll make her way home. And just kind of demolishing this tree so we can get it loaded, but I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'm ready to be past this part, guys. I'm loving it, but let's do some farming. We're gonna see, this isn't a huge load, but if the big tree that we have in here makes a significant difference, we might start selling those instead of keeping them all for the sawmill, at least for a short time. You can see how much we still have out there. So there's a good amount still to sell. Hoping to kind of get through this phase before noon, because we want to get that probably, I don't know if it's going to be a plow or a cultivator still until we get to the store later on, but we want to get that ordered soon and picked up so we can start making our official first field. I'm so excited, guys. So I heard a rumor that this map has an update, but you need a new save file, so I'm not going to be doing that. I might make a backup of the existing mod and then check it to see if that is the case, but I was kind of hoping somebody could clarify for me. We're gonna get this sold, head back, do one more load of what we have left, and then it's time to buy some equipment, but this will be interesting. I'm super interested in how much more this load's gonna be because of the ginormous tree here. Alrighty, let's get on over here. Yeah, 26, that was 26? All of a sudden, we're $65,000 away from... Maybe we just sell trees until we get there. But then we wouldn't be able to buy the plow, and I really, really, really want to do that today. They are back and went too far. Okay, so that's perfect. We'll be able to get this configured now. We'll call a little pause on that and get this all sorted out. So we're gonna hop in here. It's gonna be a worker waiting, and we technically, let's see if we could just get away with this here. So this is on, but not, okay, so that's too far away if we go like that. Even if we pulled this in all the way, and that is as high as it goes. So let's see, let's open up auto drive again. I don't understand why she's that far over. Okay, I think we've got it this time. Let's see, just they're not turning sharp enough. Seems to be the problem. Gotta turn sharper, gotta turn, but there we go. Perfection. All right, back to what we were supposed to be working on. All right, a few more logs to pick up and then we will be able to start that next phase. And they're almost full, so that's awesome. Awesome seeing the process working. This is the load that we've got. A couple of them not looking the best, but let's get them on over there, see what the dollar amount's sitting, and then we're gonna buy some equipment. All right, shouldn't be as big as the last load, but another 8 grand. Let's head to the store. There is something that I want to purchase now that we can take home with us, potentially. And it's on sale, no way. 65% off, and I don't believe that's something that you ever need repaired. That is a huge score. We're gonna have them load this up in the truck for us and get it home. The Scouts. All right, it should be in there securely. Let's send it and see. Oh yeah, perfect. Maybe that's a good place to park for now. Let's see how this is going. I don't see it moving, so something messed up. Oh, it's empty. It's just empty. That makes sense. That's kind of what we thought was gonna happen, but let's adjust this. I wonder if this isn't populating when we're not around, but this was running. I don't know. But we are around now, but we're not going to be for very long. Let's check over here. Let's just double check and make sure we're not getting low. We got a couple trees over here, perhaps you can see. Oh yeah, we're fine. Beautiful. We are going to drive the 7R to the store, to the dealership, and we're going to pick up our first piece of equipment. Our first implement. Let's go get it. All right, let's see what they got for us today here. We're definitely leaning towards cultivators, but we will look at plows first. We do have a mod in here, 320 horsepower. We should be able to handle that, right? We have 352, and this requires 320, and that's $85,000. So way too big for what we need way too big for what we need now, but not long term. Like, we're gonna get this area done so fast with this. It's also considered a plow, so it will give us that plowed state, though I don't think we really want that all the time with precision farming. That's what we're going with. I love this implement, found it on Itch. Added it to the mod pack today, and to answer some questions we have been getting about the mod list, it's the last thing on my mind is to add a mod that I download that I may or may not use to a mod list for a series. Just not gonna happen anymore, guys. Search for them on Google. I'll try to mention where I got them from every once in a while like I just did, but I don't have the time for it these days. All right, is this gonna be too wide for our little road? Well, it shouldn't be because the entrance is right here. No, this isn't the entrance, but we can get there this way. Yeah, it should be okay still. Let's loop around. We didn't use the bulldozer everywhere, and we'll have to get rid of the stumps here momentarily, but I think we'll do this first, unless we get stuck on a ton of these stumps. Get this lowered, and then we need to put allow fields on. And there we go, getting a plowed state. Let's go ahead and raise real quick, get past that stump, lower it back down. And yeah, if that keeps becoming a problem, we might need to do the stumps first. I was hoping, I didn't know, how did I turn my lights on? I was hoping we could get this completely plowed up and then do the stumps, but either way, we'll get it figured out. Just feels a little silly for this size of a field. But it won't long term, I promise. And a few areas giving us a little bit of a fuss, but I think that is the rest of the stumps. And it's gonna be rough to be able to get anything inside this area with all the trees around, but they're not gonna be here forever. We'll get rid of more, but doing like a time lapse or anything right now, it's gonna be rough. Just a little spot that we missed. Not bad for our first field. It's gonna feel good. Feels good getting this going. And all complete, we can put this beautiful piece of equipment away for now. A good test here. Yeah, we fit good. But will this fit anywhere? I don't think it will. And so this is kind of one of the next topics that we're going to talk about. Is the equipment we're getting is not tiny, so we're definitely going to want some decent sized sheds, and that's the next thing that we will be working on after the cement factory. So we need to get some equipment over here to help us get the scout out, and then we're going to get our new field scouted, the soil sampled. Finally getting back to precision farming. This is exciting. All right, we're getting as far into the field as we can, and about right there is where we're gonna have to go. So what is the button we want here? Take soil sample, there it is. So we'll get all of these samples, but we'll send them all in at the same time. And this will be our first time on this channel seeing soil samples and soil types in FS25. I purposely, and this is how I do things, haven't watched anything to know the good, the bad, or the ugly of precision farming. I do know the stuff that we learned about the contracts, and I heard rumors about some issues with fertilizer and lime, though I don't know if the last patch fixed that, but we will discover that together. And because I'm prepared for it, it's not going to surprise us. We won't be cranky about it. We'll be good. It looks like we will just need a fourth sample here, and then we'll get the stump grinder out next. We are going to send them in to be analyzed now. Looks like it did come back. $200 is what that cost us. Looks like it's $50 per sample. Not bad. Still not filled up, huh? But we are going to sneak in here so we can put the scout back in the corner. About right there should be good. All right, let's pull the menu up and take a look at this. Precision farming. So it looks like we have loam and sandy loam, which I guess isn't bad. Doesn't seem bad at all. 50% score. Soil sampling's good. Now we go through here. pH, something we would want to take a look at. So I guess we're going to learn today about it. Let's look at spreaders. Let's see what we have available to us that can do lime and fertilizer. Oh, this one's not bad. And this would be good for what we have. Capacity 2,000, $13,000. I think we'll have this one delivered and some lime delivered as well. And I think we'll do 2 bags for now since we're getting them delivered. Oops, I guess we pay the delivery cost twice there. We're not going to be too concerned about how much we order since we can just, you know, the delivery fee is 2.5%. I think that's completely fair for the amount of time it does save us. All right, so optimal width, we'll get that all figured out, or not optimal width, partial width, and if we need to do that, if we're going to be wasting lime, or how it works, we're going to learn. We're going to learn. No values detected. Let's get on over here and see if we can figure out exactly if there's anything we need to do. Oh, we're going to do the stumps next. We can do that after this. We should probably do the stumps next. Seems a little heavy for us. If I go higher, let it balance out the weight. Wow, I can't believe this one's handling this a little not as well as the other one. Interesting. So it seems like this is the best way to do it. Have it this low and the back isn't lifting as much. But it's nice to see a field. Tracks and the skid steer, they seem to be struggling a little bit on the plowed surface here. But we'll go ahead and do our best to get these all grinded. There we go. That'll do it. You know, we did go with a plow that is long-term and with a spreader that is not long-term. So a little inconsistencies there, but also keeping in mind that we're trying to make wise decisions when it comes to saving money for that concrete factory still. Okay, I'm not excited about what I'm seeing on the map. The colors are not becoming consistent for the pH level. So we'll try to learn about this, and I'm sure I'll get some comments to help me out here. But let's go ahead and jump into the menu now and see if we can learn anything. That is yield, nitrogen, and pH. So imagine when we hop out here, it says good, perfect, okay in some spots, but overall I think we'll be good. Now, what is the nitrogen level? And this is something where we might make a mistake here, but I think we're going to buy a seeder and do a cover crop, because we're going to want to plant either barley or oats in September, because it just would make sense to do our first field, you know, something simple like that. And this is the seeder I think we should go with. I'm just kidding. That thing looks hilarious though. So there is a mod that I want to add for our seeder long term, or at least a short term one. So I think we're going to go with this. Is going to be specifically for planting cover crops and rolling them right away. And I think that'll be fine. We're going to order that And we're gonna order a bag of seed. I also wanted to try that way. So it'll be something that's kind of funny on the John Deere, but I think it'll be fun. Oh, we did delivery fees. I didn't mean to do that this time, but that's okay. We will do oilseed radish so that we're not tempted to just keep the grass and make silage. And boy, the handling on this is a little strange. It seems like we're oversteering like crazy. Let's get it all unfolded. This is exciting. I do see a wood chip out there that may or may not become an issue. And then we want to lower. We'll get as close as we can. There'll be a couple spots that I think we're gonna have some trouble. Now, I don't know if you can do the cover crop and just have it grow for a month and get the benefit with precision farming. I'm kind of wondering if you need to leave it in a little bit longer. So we'll leave it in, probably plow it up in September when we do decide whether it's wheat or barley that we're gonna plant, and see what that does to the nitrogen level. So it's gonna be a little bit before it's not gonna be this episode when we find out about that. But nice, getting a nice rolled state. I don't know what the bonus is for that, especially since we're not harvesting it, so we shouldn't be getting a bonus. But I thought this would be cool to have, and honestly, I kind of wanted to use it, and I like the look of a rolled field. Let's get her done. And one little tiny strip to go. This feels good. Got a field planted, even if it's just a cover crop. Great start. Not bad for 1 year on this farm. And just kind of taking a look at these menus because we haven't seen them yet. Where did our field go? Oh, there it is. There it is. There she is. All right, so we know the soil type. pH is looking in the green, so it looks okay. Nitrogen is what we're hoping next. And yield we haven't seen. Seed rate is low. Interesting. Okay. So those are the 4 screens or 5 screens. The score is still at 50, and we'll follow that along as we make progress there. But what a good first year. We started all of this with trees from here on in. Created a road here, a nice area for our sawmill. That's kind of a mess right now, but we know why. And we have our stone production that's not working. Oh, did this get shut off somehow? It shouldn't have. That's weird. There we go. Now we're back in action over here. Wonder if it timed out somehow. Let's go it in here, and we got this automated now. We got it all set up, and we believe it's working good now. It's just got 30% to go, and it'll go on another run. And down our beautiful road leads to our first field. This was the bulk of the work out here. Clearing all the trees so far, and we're gonna keep clearing it this direction. We got a decent start here, but we got all of these in the middle that we're gonna want to get rid of, and we'll extend the field that way, pretty much all the way to the meadow is what I'm thinking. These items here will get moved and probably just drop them off at the sawmill. Since they're so small, we can just pick them up. Man, what a fun first year. Survival challenge going pretty good. We got a decent chunk of change in our account. We're saving up for a cement factory, but we started the farming process, so we have a lot of equipment still to buy. We're probably going to want a sprayer to take care of weeds and fertilizer if we need to, and we need a harvester, and eventually we're going to need a baler. I don't think we'll do that the first time around, but what a beautiful property we're working on here. I'm loving it. It's definitely turning into my favorite playthrough ever on Farming Simulator. I love the way it started. I'm Socksway Up. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you on the next one.